The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Good morning, pop culture. We are live. It is Tuesday, July 9th, 2019, 7:55 a.m., and it's time to start your day right with Good Morning Pop Culture. So, this is the second day this week that we're doing an episode of Good Morning Pop Culture, which is rare. It's been a while since we've had back-to-back days, but for those just joining us, hello and welcome. And for those who are wondering what happened to our episode for the last High Council that we hosted, once again, my microphone broke overnight. I replaced it in that afternoon, and then we had our little hiatus from the channel. I was out of town, we were all on vacation, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't matter, I'm back. So if you love it, awesome. If you hate it, tough shit. It's Good Morning Pop Culture, and I'm ready to have some fun and talk about some entertainment, some pop culture, if you will, in the morning, and it's going to be good. So today, we got a lot more people in the chat, which is awesome. Yesterday's show was a surprise. I wanted it to be a surprise, and I was like hoping we'd have a massive flood, but we had a pretty good turnout. Today it's going to be better, and if today's turnout's better, well, we'll just come back tomorrow, and then Thursday, and then Friday. Fuck, there may be even a Saturday show, depending on how good the turnout is. So, today we got a lot of topics to cover, and while we wait for more people to show up before we get into the main topic that is advertised here in the title, we're going to talk about something I did over the last couple of days, and that's finish up Stranger Things Season 3. So, I've been a fan of Stranger Things since the beginning. I think the first season was very, very, very good. Second season, from what I remember, I liked it but didn't love it. And now comes this third season. And the third season was better, at least how I feel off the top of my head, than the second season. But it didn't reach the heights of the first. And if I'm being honest, I'm okay with Stranger Things not coming back. I know they built up the Russians and the Americans and all the, the Upside Down and all that stuff coming back. That's cool. But it's, in many ways, it's like Return of the Jedi. There's a lot of quality there, but there's also a lot of similarities to A New Hope. And at the end of the day, personally, I would just rather watch A New Hope. So, Stranger Things, let me know in the chat what you guys think. Like I said, I thought it was a quality season. Those child actors are very good. Even the ones like Mike, who's barely in it anymore. Not Mike, excuse me. Will. Which is weird, because at first that show seemed like it was going to be about him, and then the little girl got real popular, 11. But this season was different. She didn't feel like the main character anymore. 11 felt like just one of the kids, which is fine. You had Max, you had Lucas. Dustin probably is the best. The Dustin-Steve Harrington dynamic is probably the most entertaining thing on Netflix, which isn't really saying too much for original series on Netflix because we have a lot of crap. I know we always joke about Jessica Jones and the wokeness and how nobody cares about anybody or any of this stuff. But I don't know if I said it yesterday, but did you notice Jessica Jones Season 2 has been out for almost like a month and nobody's talking about it? You may have had your little blurbs on IGN. You may have had your little write-ups on Screen Rant, but everyone's been focused on Spider-Man, Avengers, some more Brie Larson runoff, or run over from the toilet because her mouth is full of shit. But Jessica Jones was kind of an afterthought, if you will. And I think that's very representative of too much Marvel. Do I want Marvel to go away? Not really. I want them to clean up their act, but I also want them to restructure and focus. And wow, we got a good super chat right off the bat. So good morning to the Pui. He says, thank God you're back. By the way, how's your mom? Well, the Pui, thank you very much for the super chat, and thank you very much for asking. She's fine. She's actually off work today, so she's doing quite well. She's happy. She's going to spend some family time with my grandma, and those two are going to go probably shop. That's what they do, honestly. They'll make their rounds. They'll go to their stores. My mom's awesome. So is my grandma, too. Those are my two people in my life that I'm the closest with, that mean the most to me. So, sorry, Dion, you're my best friend. But I do love my mom and grandma a little more. But no, we thank you very much for that. And yeah, I'm glad to be back, too. It's fun. I must have had a lot of thoughts in my head. Because I've been working on stuff, been gone. Like I said yesterday, this is about the 1-year anniversary of Good Morning Pop Culture. So I thought we'd celebrate it. You know, if the channel would grow the way it does with videos and this, you know, who knows. I do need sleep, but the entertainment news is much more important. But, again, thank you, Pui. And to close out Stranger Things, would I recommend it? Of course. If you have seen the other 2 seasons, watch it. If you've never seen Stranger Things, check it out. Go back from the beginning. It's fun. It's different. I mean, I love the 80s, clearly. If you've ever ridden in a car with me, when I was hanging out with Jessie Milestone, one of her friends picked up on all this 80s music I had, and he knew all of it, and I was very impressed. Even some of the Clash that I had on. So, you know, is very little of the 80s as I was alive for. I was only alive for 1 year and 2 months of the 1980s. But the pop culture has been a big part of my life. Movies, music, TV shows, like, hell, even Miami Vice, Family Ties, those sorts of shows. Love all of them. So if you were looking for that sort of thing, Stranger Things will have that for you. Now, I will say the 80s nostalgia has worn a little thin. It was nice to hear the Neutron Dance or some of these songs, and that's always going to be fun. But Stranger Things, its identity has kind of warped a little bit. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, if it's become more of itself or, you know, less referential, which is cool. But I don't know. Go out and watch it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give season 3 a 7. There wasn't the bad episode like there was when Elle went to Chicago last season, but I wasn't as hooked. You know, I was drawing and doing other stuff, and I looked over, and there were times where I'm just like, whatever. But it was a quality season. David Harbour's awesome. His Hellboy reboot was a failure. Have no interest in seeing that. But if you like the actor, you'll like this. He is the star of the show. Let's see. Thundercats Ho says, thanks for making my early afternoon more fun. Well, Thundercats Ho, thank you very much for your £2 super chat. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you guys have fun with me. That's the most important thing. That you have a good time listening to world-class bullshitters. Because that's what we go for. So also, if you've noticed on the channel, I have gone back and I've made my Spider-Man review with Jessie Milestone live because I didn't have time yesterday to record a new one, and I won't today. So if you guys are really hungry for my take on the movie, there's a longer stream where you can watch us live talk about it. And, you know, I like the movie. I just don't think it's the greatest thing ever. Oh, here we go. This is from somebody from a long time ago. The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. Thank you very much, and good morning. New Jeff Challenge. What small cars can you squeeze into? Picks need to be taken. Bonus points for getting Dion or Nick or both in 2. Let's see. So I guess you saw my picture on Twitter, which I was drunk for and don't remember taking. So, was that picture taken with my consent? I don't know. It's funny and I don't care. So when I was in Texas, we went to WrestleMania 32, which would have been 2016, and they gave us a Prius. So Dion, Dan, and myself were all squeezed into a Prius, which wasn't fun. But since that trip, we have made the effort to rent only large vehicles. So when we went to New Orleans, we got... so one year I think we took a Ford Excursion. Is that the biggest one? There's an Expedition. Whatever the biggest Ford was. And then the next year we got another vehicle that was the same. And the funny part is, 3 of us drove down. So Dion came here and Dan lives here. And we drove down to New Orleans. We parked our car and we never drove it. So we just walked everywhere. So we had this giant car for no reason. But, yeah, I'll gladly do that. The Jeff Challenge, the tiny car. You know, big guy in a little car. I'll even sing the song if we film it. Well, I'm glad you guys are keeping up with us on social media. We've seen a big upswing in that. So we've been trying to be more involved, help people get out the word about stuff. and just be more present on every platform. And last night, just a little secret that I'm not going to give all the secrets to, I sat down with the guys, and we had a business meeting, and we have some big plans for you. Got a little notebook, a couple pages full of good changes coming to the channel. If there's things you like, well, those aren't going away. And if there's things you want, well, they're probably going to happen because you don't know about them yet. So that's how we operate here on the channel. Quick shout out and a thank you to our mods. So Salvador's here, as well as Star Wars for Life. Thank you very much for all you do over on social media as well. And Kendo Slice, who will be joining us a little later. So Kendo, good morning, buddy. Robbed at Fun Point says, good morning, Fandom Menace. Hefe, let's talk some nostalgia this morning from the 2000s and mix it up. Personal fave, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, LOL. Well, first off, Robbed at Fun Point, thank you. Also, based on your icon as well, I started seasons 13 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Funny, but kind of a disappointment. There's just something off about the show. I don't hate it. It's still my favorite sitcom of all time. But I have to get through the season to really fall in love with it, and I hope I do. Because the way the last season ended, I just was so into it. And this season, whatever. Danny DeVito's still great. The gang is still great. I just feel like it's kind of played out. Or maybe society's dumb, or maybe they have to be tamer. I don't know. But the old episodes, I'll still go back and watch. Fat Mac, all those. So you want me... Oh, and Cesario Japan as well. Thank you, and I'm sorry. You were the first mod here. So, you want me to talk about nostalgia from the 2000s. So, if we're going to go back to the year 2000 proper, the thing I'm most nostalgic for, it's probably the thing I was into the beginning of that year would be the WWF, the way it was. I know wrestling's still around, even though I don't watch it anymore. Specifically The Rock. That specific Rock, the $500 shirts, I'm talking about sticking stuff up your candy ass. The year 2000, it's funny. You can figure out what year it was based on my interests in entertainment. So if we're talking early 90s when I'm very, very young, it's probably Thomas the Tank Engine or Pee Wee Herman or stuff like that. Then we get into Power Rangers, which was 93 to 95. Still have a very special place in my heart for the Power Rangers. Then for a year I was into Toy Story. Then I got into Star Wars and that's stuck. Then for a hot minute, yes, I said hot minute, I was into Small Soldiers, which... I have a little nostalgia for that. And then we get to the end of the 90s. I got into Pokemon, really heavily into video games. And then at the very, very, very ass end, wrestling, which, stuck with me for a while. But yeah, I'm nostalgic for that. 2001, what I was into. I was really into wrestling for a couple years straight. The first Spider-Man movie was a big impact. It's funny, though. Once we get to 2001, 2002, part of my identity goes back to drawing. The music I'm nostalgic for, I used to listen to like Alien Ant Farm. I watched a lot of MTV at that point in my life because we had satellite. So I'd watch all the videos. Didn't really like Britney Spears or any of the boy bands, but I watched a lot of bullshit music videos. What am I really nostalgic for? What do I miss? Not those Jamster ads, but I definitely remember those. Sprite Remix, that's a drink I'm nostalgic for. If you're nostalgic for a drink, let me know in the chat. If you're nostalgic for any food items, let me know. I got new Coke to try because of Stranger Things, so I'm letting that can chill, and then we'll do a little video out of it. So I have new Coca-Cola. I'm surprised to try it. I don't know. I'm not a Coke guy. Never have been. I'm a coffee man, not a Coke man. I'm seeing a lot of love for the year 1999, and yes, there was a lot of love for 1999. It was a great year. So I would have been 10, most of it, 11 at the oldest. I was in the 4th grade. I went into the 5th grade at the end of the year. I was playing a lot of N64. Smash Brothers came out that year. It was funny. There was a kid who lived behind me who had a rich mom, and she bought him Super Smash Brothers as soon as it came out. But he wanted to borrow WWF Attitude from me, which my mom had bought me because I had just gotten into wrestling. And Attitude sucked. But he was obsessed with wrestling. His mom wouldn't let him watch it. So he's like, I'll trade you Super Smash Brothers for Attitude. For about 9 months straight, I had a copy of Super Smash Brothers. Never owned it originally, but I had his copy to borrow. And he never asked for it back until, I think the next school year. I was like, here you go, man, no problem. By that time, I had WrestleMania 2000 and eventually No Mercy and, good quality games. But, 99 was a fantastic year. The funny thing is, maybe it's just with age, but you go back and you think about, the 90s, and there's, a sense of safety, security. It was a lot simpler of a time. I mean, 9/11 changed everything. People go, oh, that just sounds so cliched, but it really did, because life wasn't like perfect. There was still crime and all this stuff, obviously, and I think statistically crime still goes down. But I just remember, you could do, jokes could be risque, things were funnier, people were less offended, people were better back then. Maybe the times weren't better, but the people, in terms of like certain things were better. Maybe people were more open and accepting, which is important. But shit was funnier back then. It was a simpler time. Internet was shittier, but it was still cool. You had online gaming. It wasn't what it is. There was no Wi-Fi, at least anywhere I knew of. And 99 was a good year. So there you go. You got me monologuing or ranting or waxing nostalgic for something. Yeah, 99, early 2000s, all kinds of stuff. So, let's see, where are we at? Oh, Party Like It's 99. What's better, Yoda, theatrical version? I prefer 1980 Yoda from The Empire Strikes Back. And I hate to say it, I got so used to CGI Yoda from Episode 2 that when they changed him in Episode 1, I was just like, okay, this is the prequels Yoda, and I'm cool with it. Yep, Salvador, you and I are the same age, roughly, so we were doing the same stuff in 1999. So, and also, we were still on the heels of the Monica Lewinsky thing. That's how I learned a lot about, that's what I learned what a BJ was, through the news. Thank you, news. So nowadays, the news teaches you a bunch of fear and hate, and back then they taught you what BJs were. So, again, 90s were better than today. There you go, I just proved my point. Boom, I don't even need to go any more. So, we got a lot of activity in the chat. Press 1 if you guys are ready for me to talk about the main topic. Surprise, they ended The Walking Dead. By the way, Lacardo Guara, the Far From Home review, the full version is now back up on the channel. I was trying to delist it for the algorithm since YouTube is broken essentially. That was a discussion we had last night with the guys. But that's up there right now, so you guys can check it out. And anytime you want me to do a short one, I will. Long story short, check out the movie. 7 out of 10, pretty good. Alright, so I've been wanting to talk about this since the first day I experienced it. It's one of those things, I've always wanted it, and now I have it. How the internet reacts to the surprise finale of The Walking Dead. So let me get this pulled up for you guys. And, we got a $1 super chat from our friend, Etepaquin's Place to Be Reviews. Well, Etepaquin, thank you very much. And I saw that you had one of our listeners, Tap and Die, on your show. So I don't know how you put out so many podcasts so quick. You're on, episode 41, and you just started. We're on episode 180, and we've been out for 4 years, so you might beat us really soon. Congratulations, though, and keep up the good work, man. I see a lot of our fandom menacers creating their own content. You guys are knocking it out of the park, and, we're all proud of you guys, because, our egos like to think part of us inspired you. Hopefully we did, but you guys are putting out great stuff, and we'll all work together real soon. By the way, tonight is the High Council on Comic Artist Pro Secrets, so Jeremy, Ethan, and myself will be back together for the first time in what feels like an eternity, but we're back on track. Things are back to normal. We can go back and, the holiday's over. Let's get back to kicking some ass. So, Black Angus Reviews is here. He is the only person in the chat that met me. So we had a lot of fun. He's a cool dude. Alright, so Walking Dead is over. Or so we thought. Well, thank you, Google Hangouts that wants to share it and freeze. Oh no. If you can hear me, awesome. The Google Hangouts share feature has frozen. So give me a 1 if you can still hear me. Oh, D. Pensack, you're in the chat. Yeah, I did meet you. You were so nice at Horror Hound Cincinnati. I wish I would have come back and talked more. Let's see. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Dr. Coffinails, yeah, you're there too. Okay, we did meet. Dr. Coffinails, we were the first one to meet. So there we go. But I didn't buy you guys dinner Okay, so you can hear me. Cool. Etopic Place to Be Reviews says, Hail WCBS, ending The Walking Dead comic broke my heart. Yes, it did break. Actually, didn't break my heart. I was surprised. And while I'm waiting for it to load, I'm going to read Bomb Shoes as well. He says, I like to think that The Walking Dead ended when they got chased out of the prison. Everybody separated and walked into the sunset. So just like a good version of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Well, that is the good version of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I read the book up till issue 100 when Glenn died. Glenn was my favorite character. I don't know why I associated with him. I'm not a small Asian man. I've never been, in love with I take that back. I did date a farmer's daughter. That was a time. So I do like the character of Glenn for some reason. But when he died, when he bit the bullet, I told myself I was done with the show. So, done with the comic. So that's my feeling towards Glenn and the comic in general. Let's see. Rhino4563, that's a name we haven't heard from in a while. He says, Mon Frere, nice to see you've recuperated from your work weekend with Jesse. Laughing face. Well, if you consider working, drinking a lot of beer and talking about the philosophy of what we do on the channel, yes, it was work every day. Lots of beers. Like I said, when you saw that picture of me stuffed into the tiny, tiny little car, yeah, we were drinking beers. But we had also just worked. So, Rhino, thank you very much. I'm back. I feel good. Been getting some good night's rests. Not, staying up till 4 in the morning anymore. I gotta be responsible. I will screen share as soon as it's not frozen, so I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. But I will respond to our friend Pete. I'm a little disappointed that the Batman 89 4K release was so bad. Kendo and I still have to get our copies. We did our live stream a couple weeks ago. We're like, hey, we're going to take the super chats and buy Batman 4K. And we are. Maybe we'll do that together in person, just for the hell of it anyway, because we got to be, good on our words. But, no, I'm disappointed that the picture quality didn't meet your standards. I really wanted to love it, or I want to love it. Maybe I will. I don't know. You explained why it's not as great with the teals and the different colors. So, I know a lot of people think of it as this dark movie. I think they darkened it for theaters, or maybe the VHS was too dark. I don't know. So, let's get to The Walking Dead, because it is still frozen. So, let me pull up the article that I had, because if I click on it too much, it might freeze the whole browser. So, where are we at? Here we go. Walking Dead. Polygon put out a couple of big finales on our list of the most anticipated comics of 2019, but it turns out we missed the biggest one, The Walking Dead. This week's Walking Dead 193, the final comic in the series, was kept secret until the final day of its release. In order to disguise that the comic was coming to an end, Kirkman and Adler arranged for the Walking Dead publisher, Image, to advertise 3 more issues, complete with cover art, to retailers. This created the illusion that the series would continue at least until issue 196, and presumably longer. The Walking Dead has always been built on surprise, not knowing what's going to happen when you turn the page, who's going to die, how they're going to die. It's been the essential part of its success to the series. It's been the lifeblood that's been keeping it going all these years, keeping people engaged. It just felt wrong and against the very nature of this series, and not to make an actual ending as surprise as big deaths from Shane all the way to Rick. So it came out in 2003, and the first issue of The Walking Dead is worth a stupid amount of money. And it's been a part of the comic book landscape for 16 years. It really got popular about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, whenever the show came out. But it definitely ran its course. I will give credit to The Walking Dead, as well as many other things that understand its shelf life. There's nothing lamer like Star Wars. When it just keeps sticking around and nobody wants it. You get Galaxy's Edge, where it's a ghost town, apparently, which we'll talk about a little later. And like, okay, so I was up in Columbus, and I heard that The Walking Dead had ended. I was like, oh, the show's finally done. And then I read the article, like, wait, the comic just got canceled out of the blue? And at first I was a little surprised, so, I kind of want the issue just for, the reasons. But I will say, you went out like a rock star, Robert Kirkman. I would love to be able to troll, or not even troll, but just surprise so much of my audience, with a book that just got abruptly ended. The Walking Dead has to make some serious money. I bet the last couple of years they were making some serious bank on merchandise. He and the artist, Charlie Adler, which is weird about the Walking Dead, because there was initially a different artist. His name was Tony Moore. I think he lives by me. Like within 20 minutes, I could find this guy, or I could call the other comic book store that I don't go to too often, and they can get me a connection to him. But he left the book, and then it got real popular. And I don't know if he gets a credit or if he gets whatever on the show. I think he gets a credit on the show, Tony Moore. But I would hate to be that guy where, I help create something, I leave, and then it gets really popular, and I don't get the accolades that the other guy does. Because I feel the first artist was the best artist. The book looked a lot different, a lot better. It was always in black and white with its tones or values, as you will. But, it's different now. It looks different, but that's The Walking Dead most of you probably know. Because it's been like that all but 7 or 8 issues. So I guess they couldn't go up to the number 200 nice round issue. I guess people would suspect it. Nobody quits at 193. You don't stop counting at 19 or something. You're like, oh, you're going to go to 20. No, I'm done. That's the surprise. That's the point that I think they want. Oh, we got a lot of Batman chat going on, which is cool with me because it's Batman. I love Batman. A lot of Batman Forever love. Good movie. Very solid flick. Saw it countless times as a kid. Have it on videotape. Not as good as 89, but back then I think it was my favorite for a little bit. And the cartoon. Love the cartoon. I don't think anybody will ever argue that Batman the Animated Series is the best version of Batman. And if you say, what about The Dark Knight? Well, I say, well, Kevin Conroy. I like to understand. Well, I think with the Frank Darabont issue, chat, I think he still has that lawsuit going on. So Frank Darabont, folks, if you don't know who he is I believe a producer, director. I think he directed Shawshank Redemption, as well as The Mist, the Stephen King. Well, they're both Stephen King stories, which I love The Mist. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Best twist ending of the 2000s. You want to talk about something odd to be nostalgic for? That movie, or at least, I don't know, nostalgic for it. Just the first time I watched it, I remember that feeling of like, oh no! And I want that again in a lot of movies. Like, very Twilight Zone-esque ending, which you don't get even from the Twilight Zone today. But I thought we had such a great... That was just a really good movie. So Frank Darabont was involved with The Walking Dead, and I believe he was either pushed out or quit or something, and he's suing, and if he wins, he'll win, like, a lot of money. Kind of like the Victor Miller situation. Victor Miller wrote Friday the 13th and took him to court for all the rights, and I think he won, and then they're challenging it. It's in, not probate court, what's the other kind of court? Of appeals. And now it's like they've taken away the Jason licensing. You can't make new stuff. So if like stuff was slated to come out a specific date and it was done, then it comes out. But if it was like going to come out later and they're just pre-ordering it, it's not coming out. Same thing with the Freddy vs. Jason Freddy. So all that stuff gets tied in together. Legalities are dumb. Salvador, I saw that Hush figure. I pre-ordered that Hush figure. I have to own it because Batman Hush is my favorite. I have Batman Hush Noir right next to me. I love it. Okay, my Chrome is still frozen, so as long as you can hear me, we're just going to keep talking over a, I won't call it a blank screen, because there's nothing blank about it, but we'll talk, yep, it's all frozen. Fuck. I had my notes pulled up. Can I pull that up on my phone? We'll see. No, but let me know how you guys feel about The Walking Dead in general. Are you like me and you're burnt out on it? Or are you, you just don't care. You only see it as a TV show. I experienced it first as a comic very quickly. Joel, the guy that I was talking about, my buddy, he's like, hey, read these books. And he handed me like 6 or 7 issues, or not issues, but like trades. He's like, read these. Take them home. I'm like, okay. And I remember sitting in my room, poring over them. They were so good that I had to just keep reading. Like, I was late for stuff because I kept reading them. I didn't want to not read them. So, okay, so people only see it as a TV show, says the Pain 78. Good morning. I wish they gave it an ending. The TV show many years ago. The show overstayed its welcome. You know, I was okay that they deviated from the source material. There's only one, the comic. I was okay with that. You didn't need to kill Shane right away or this or that. And the comic's way darker than they would put on TV. If this show would have been on HBO, it would have been much better. But, Rhino4563, thank you very much for your super chat. Fear the Walking Dead has gotten much better since they killed the mom. Well, Rhino4563, I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead, hoping for that, like, zombie, you know, that feeling I would get in the pit of my stomach about, like, zombie films, like that excitement, that desolation, that apocalyptic feeling. And I got it, and then I lost it right away. I think the brother was on drugs, and you have to have family drama. You can't just drop into, you can if you're a Romero movie. You can just drop into the action and go. But I know they were trying to world build and set up for the decline of society, but I wasn't hooked. But if it's gotten better because they killed off a character, who knows? Maybe years from now, I can binge watch Fear the Walking Dead. Part of me wants to finish The Walking Dead proper, but I know I won't. I got fed up with Coral and Rick and all the gang, and I know Rick left. And, did they cut off Rick's hand in the TV show like they did in the comic book? Because I've read somewhere that was the biggest mistake Robert Kirkman made, like to cut off Rick's hand. It was just for shock value more than anything else. So, hey, if The Walking Dead is part of your Sunday ritual, there's no problem with that. Believe me, my local news is bullshit, but for some reason it's still part of my routine. Well, not always. But I get it, man. Yeah, I have to live Coral. I saw Coral at a convention once when that show had just come out. I was with Joel again, and that kid had no line whatsoever. I almost felt bad for him, and then again, I don't know. He was Chandler Riggs, or... Is it Chandler Riggs? Not Chandler Bing. Chandler Bing's from Friends. I don't know. I digress. Oh, well, Rick got killed in issue 192. I did not know that. I was never going to go back and read it, so there's no spoilers for The Walking Dead for me. You can't spoil something I don't care about. It's almost impossible. Mexi Man and Cheese, what is up? I haven't heard from you in a while either. Walking Dead bullet physics awful. Wood was bulletproof. It's like Doctor Who. The sonic screwdriver works on anything but wood. Yeah, the show just... I don't know, man. I don't want to be on this hate train all morning because I got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm really happy today. So I'm not trying to be on the hate train, but I am on the Walking Dead has kind of been dumb train. The only thing I like about The Walking Dead, besides its bullet physics, is the fact that when I used to work conventions for horror shows, I would take Walking Dead artwork and I would sell a ton of it. So have you ever heard of Painting American Gothic? I did one where it was Herschel and his dead zombie wife, and it sold a lot. Quite a few, actually. I've done all kinds of those. I did Daryl on a motorcycle. I sold some... I'll never forget the best weekend I ever had. I made $1,500 at a show, and I'm sitting there with Dan, and this is Friday. We had just gotten there, and this lady goes, "Oh my God, Daryl Dixon, how much for this drawing?" And it was like a one-of-a-kind. I was like, "Oh, $90." She was like, "I'll take it. Does it come in the frame?" I said, "Of course it comes in the frame." And, boom. So there we go. The Walking Dead has made me some money, so thank you very much. You know, I see Pete talking about the headstone with Spider-Man. There's the one side where people are trying to say a company shouldn't bow to fans and all this other dumb crap. My biggest concern / question is, if you'll do it for Iron Man last year, what has changed within 1 year that you wouldn't do it for Spider-Man? Did Robert Downey Jr. push for it? Because we know Robert Downey Jr. is very kind when it comes to kids. Like, I wasn't exaggerating in the video when I said the video of him giving the kid the prosthetic arm really makes me happy. That's not an exaggeration. That wasn't meant to just, like, further my point, I genuinely love that video. I really think because of what he's done and how he's lived on the edge. By the way, I'm going to read the super chat because it's frozen kind of. I'll get back to my point, though. Shane West, thank you very much for your $5 super chat. The Walking Dead show sucks now. I bailed after season 7. Wish they'd make R-rated cartoons out of the comics. I like that idea, R-rated cartoons. Shane... Shawnee. Right? Shanye West, excuse me. There we go. I got it right. I had to read it for a second. I'm thinking Walking Dead, Shane. Sorry, Shanye West. When I was a kid, I was oddly attracted to, violent cartoons. Not like an odd obsession where I wanted to see it in real life, but like heavy metal. Maybe it was the boobs. Maybe it was the violence. I just couldn't look away. Then I would see certain anime. I think I saw Ninja Scroll as a teenager. Just stuff like that. It kind of it's odd, but you can't look away. And then Fist of the North Star, I've watched every one of those deaths. I thought those were pretty cool. But I would support... Well, I think it's a little too late, to be honest. But had they done it at the right time, as direct-to-video Blu-ray releases, Walking Dead animations with zombie gore, and you could have these stories of people who didn't make it, I would have supported that. I would have given that my money. Because I did watch the show up until, was it Woodbury? Whatever the civilization after the Governor was. I watched the whole Governor season. And then, as they were going to the next area, I had stopped where Tyrese almost died or something. It's hard to remember. These people are so plain. A couple of them are cool, and that's about it. I liked Lori. Or no, wait. Her name was Lori Holden in real life. I guess her character's name was Lori. I don't know. I wasn't sad when she bit the bullet, but I liked her for a while. But thank you very much, Shanye. Mexi Man and Cheese says, Stanley was alive a year ago. He would okay Graves. Well, I wonder how much power Stanley had, but I wonder if it was more like a spiritual ambassador role. Stan Lee passing away was the saddest moment of last year for me. Again, I don't need to exaggerate. I don't need to try to put on a show for you guys. I was just like, wow, Stan Lee died. And we went live, and I did the thing, and I was just like, boom, it hit me. Like I've always said, I wanted to meet Stan Lee, had the opportunity, didn't spend the money, missed out forever. So that's one of my great regrets in terms of geek culture and stuff like that. But I don't know why you would allow one and not the other. If it's a Sony thing, contact Sony. But Disney responded. Disney went out of their way to say, we have to preserve the innocence of the characters. Look, Marvel characters aren't Disney characters. They don't walk around without pants and say stupid shit. They're real people. They're complex. They have issues. They live. They die. They accidentally or intentionally hit their wives. They do these things. They're like real humans. I don't know what Disney thinks Marvel is actually about. If you think it's about selling t-shirts and underoos, that is a part of it. But these characters are deeper and mean so much. And if your characters were just... nobody really buys Mickey Mouse anymore. Mickey Mouse doesn't have movies in theaters. Mickey Mouse isn't really... he's part of culture, but Bugs Bunny is making a comeback. Mickey Mouse is not. Oh, but I saw him in the Disney ad. Yeah, you did, for Disneyland and Disney World. And that's cute. But it's not, the character has come and gone. He's not part of it anymore. Well, if Sony is part of the deal with the Spider-Man headstone, Sony, make it happen. You guys just had Spider-Man Homecoming. It's such an odd little request, too. It's I'd like to put this headstone of Spider-Man on my son's grave. How is that bad? What negativity does that bring? It's just a sad story overall. A 4-year-old kid passed away, and it's the only thing his dad really has to remember him by is all he loved Spider-Man because he was so young. When I was 4 years old, I had liked a few things. I haven't really done much. My mom and I hadn't. She loved me obviously, but you don't connect with you don't learn about the kid's personality or who they become or can guess who they're going to be. They're just so young. They just play. They do their thing. With being sick, there's a lot of doctor visits, a lot of other things. So it's rough. It's harsh. I just want the right thing to come out in the end. And I ranted in the video because of the double standard. So I got mad. Herschel was my favorite Walking Dead character. I liked Herschel. Excuse me, sorry. I met that actor, Scott somebody. But Herschel in the comic book, or was it Dale? One of them got their foot eaten at a cannibal subdivision, and it was crazy. And, it was fun. It's a comic. No one really got hurt. Cream of the crop. Nobody does it better. So, Mickey Mouse died out after Fantasia. Probably. I've never been a fan. He's always been kind of weird. He wears, like, short pants and has a high voice. Just not cool. I don't know. Anyway, though, The Walking Dead, folks, it just came and went. I'm surprised. I would like if other things had surprise endings. That would be a lot of fun for me. So, let's talk about something I would have loved to have covered yesterday. I saw it on Twitter. Again, I was a little more active on Twitter. And we've had, a topic that I wanted to cover. So yesterday was National Video Game Day. Yes, that's what it said on Twitter. And I was thinking to myself, so I got questions for you guys. What's your favorite video game? And what are you currently playing? Or what's a game you could never beat? Just answer the questions about gaming. Favorite, hardest, least favorite, most broken, those sorts of things. We all watch The Nerd, so we know, Big Rigs Over the Road Racing is broken. We know certain games are dumb. And while you do that, I'm going to answer Secret Rebel's question about the brawl at Disneyland. It's about as stupid as the licking of the ice cream, the Bluebell ice cream. By the way, there's no reason for me to ever make that video, but I've been following that story because we live, like I said, we live in the alternate 1985 where Biff is corrupt and powerful and married to your mother. We have idiots licking ice cream and putting it back in freezers. You realize how much money that's going to cost these corporations? Like, well, now you got to put on the plastic sleeve and all this other shit. And it just comes down to, why are people so fucking dumb? Like, what point was it a good idea to be like, hey, I'm going to do this and get some viral notoriety on the internet? Fuck, do what I do. Work your way up. I'm not at the top yet, getting there, gonna be there, but we got loyal fans. I don't do stupid shit to go, oh, I watched this guy for 5 minutes because he licked an ice cream and put it back in the freezer or jumped into thumbtacks on fire. Well, the latter would be entertaining, not for me. It kills your longevity. And that lady had the flu and all this other stuff. And that's the kind of internet drama that I think is ridiculous. Now, by that same accord, I think that the Disneyland stuff, it's funny for a minute. Disney is dumb right now. Like, I don't want to call them the enemy of everything, but they're so fake. We talk about Disneyfication on the channel. Disneyfication is real. It's not just a phrase I use to pep our videos. No, you get into Disney World, Disneyland, it's this fake, serene environment, and then shit like this happens, and it just exposes... It chips away at that veneer of the perfect vacation destination, that land, that ideal Disney, if you will. What would Walt do? Walt would have a fucking fight in Main Street, USA, or Toontown, or wherever the hell it was. If you ever see a video of me in a fight, like a crowd fight, I feel like I've won when I try to drop the people's elbow. And if you don't know what the people's elbow is, just Google it right now and look at a gif of it. It's The Rock's finishing move. It's the most elaborate, stupid finishing move of all time, and I love it. And I would love to drop that on somebody in public. So if you ever see me in a fight, I might do that. I'd have to be, like, I don't know, ready to go, but it'd be funny. Imagine me doing the people's elbow. Ooh, narcissistic millennial parents. That's a topic I wouldn't mind covering. I noticed that a lot in the... I don't want to say just the Disney crowd, because it's everywhere. But, I don't know. The next generation of kids are going to be very interesting. I mean, because their parents are stupid. Great, and the internet's going to just, reassure them that what they do is egotistical, but right, because it's 2019, and I'm this and I'm that. KR Companion says I should hit the rock bottom. By the way, KR Companion, I saw all your tweets yesterday with your Knight Rider Companion book and your Stephen E. D'Souza tweets. So, email us, worldclassbs@mail.com. I can't promise exactly a date yet, but I would like to have you on the show just to talk. I mean, we used to have a stuntman that would work on the Marvel shows, and we have interesting listeners all the time. Like tomorrow night, Salvador and I have a live stream. Is 9 o'clock pretty good? Was that good for you, man? I know you're in the chat. If you can hear this, it's still frozen, or else I'd be responding to stuff with texts as well. And Kendo, I'd be sending you your link soon. But Salvador and I are going to have a hangout and talk about whatever, so make sure you guys get involved. He's a patron. He sent a giant box of stuff, and I just need time to edit it. It's all put on my computer. It took me 3 hours to transfer the files because it's so many gigs worth of HD recording, but it's awesome too. So anyone out there, you're going to like that video. But yeah, man, KR Companion, just email us. I got, like, I kind of have to work a couple weeks out. I think July is almost full, to be honest with you, because one of our other patrons wants to have a Spider-Man chat, which I would love to have that. I might try to get my Spider-Man artist friend from Facebook on involved. Yeah, I'm going to ask him. His name's Alex Saviak. He used to work on Web of Spider-Man. If you're going to rank the top 10 most prolific Spider-Man artists, he's in that top 10 list, and it's not an exaggeration. He worked on the character for such a long time. Do you guys remember that silver spider armor from the 90s? He designed that and drew it. He did the Spider-Man animated series, comic book, Web of Spider-Man, all kinds of stuff. And a really, really great dude. A lot of fun. So I'm going to try to see if I can make that happen. That's not a guarantee. That's not a promise. That's all I can say. But Salvador, we will talk tomorrow. And just, you're my friend on Facebook. Message me, and we'll work out our topics, and we'll announce them publicly so people can get excited. Because the guys and I, we have some new things coming. So on Thursday night, listen to that. We're going to make a couple announcements, and we're going to make new announcements each week until the big switch, the big life change, if you will. So, let's see. Tim Chris says, damn it, I missed 43 minutes. The best time The Rock pulled off one of his moves was in the movie The Rundown when he rock bottomed the football player in the nightclub. I remember that. That's how the movie started. That was pretty awesome. He does his moves in some of his movies. I know he did the rock bottom in one of the Fast and Furious films. And, I laughed. I chuckled. It's funny. I do like that The Rock is self-aware about a lot of stuff. And by the way, shout out to Salvador. He is kicking the shit out of these spammers. And, while we're thanking Salvador, let's pause for a brief moment. All right, well, there is our break, and I'm back. So, yeah, okay, Jason Statham in the Fast 7 fight, okay. So we did Furious 8, and then we got Hobbs and Shaw, which I'll go see. I hate to admit it. So, no loud hillbilly noises today. Did say goodbye to my mom, so she was just on her way out. There's a loud hillbilly noise, though. There we go. The pause made you feel awkward. That garbage day was yesterday, folks. So, our video game talk. I'm sorry. That's the beauty of live shows. We can go on tangents, especially when it's just me, because it's who's stopping me? Me? No. I can go on tangents all day. Don't get me started on like my new show Spider-Man or just some Star Wars shit. I will go. So, speaking of Star Wars, in my possession, it was given to me the new R2-D2. And, Hasbro, please try better with your packaging. The shit came dented and damaged and dinged and ruined. The audience thought they were deaf. Well, I'm sorry, folks. I don't mean to scare you from an auditory sense. That would be my least favorite thing to do. It's like, hey, guys, how about this? We're in the middle of a conversation, and then I come back right in the middle of it. That would just throw you off. So, our video game talk. National Video Game Day was yesterday. Now, tell me some of your favorite game memories. I know one of our listeners did say, I saw an Ocarina of Time. I love that game. That's one of my favorites. By the way, folks, listen to Star Wars for Life. She's a great person. Big supporter of the Phantom Menace. She says to give this video a thumbs up. Smash the melee button, the like button. A simple request for a giant man. That's my take on Jeremy's catchphrase. I'm stealing it. Taking it back. Clerks reference. There we go. I won't say anymore. So, but video game memories. So, I grew up with an NES, like a lot of you. But Super Nintendo was the first system that was mine. Had it, loved it, played it fairly much. Excuse me. But when we got to the N64 era, that is when I got full-priced games and had tons and tons of games. I probably had, for me, being an only child with, a single working mom, 20 games for the N64 was pretty damn good, and most of those were full price games. And N64 games were $59 for the good ones. So Ocarina of Time was $59. Again, Smash Brothers I just borrowed, I didn't own it. But like Pokemon Stadium, all that stuff, I had them. Mom was cool about all that stuff. But my favorite game on that system, obviously, is GoldenEye. That's not even a there's not even a debate at this point. I put in so many hours to that game. And it's funny too. For a while, I was like, when I hit that like teenage, I was like, man, these other shooters are considered to be so much better. Should I still like GoldenEye? Should I? And then I thought to myself, screw it. I like what I like. I don't care if GoldenEye's got simplistic controls or no C-stick or whatever, or secondary thumbstick. It's my favorite game of all time. Thank you, Pete, for abusing the melee button. Beat the hell out of that. Treat the melee button like the fax machine from Office Space. Just take it out into a field and hit it repeatedly until your thumbs blue forever. Sean U.S., thank you very much for your $2 super chat. I appreciate it. I'm glad I got your name right this time. I do hate when I get names wrong. I feel like Jeremy. Alpha Turin. That's how he would say it. So let's see. We got some. What are some games we got people talking? By the way, folks, if your chat moves, it's still frozen. Sorry, I can't do more about it. Let's see. Salvador's got a great list: Star Fox, F-Zero, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Smash Bros., Mario Kart. N64 is a gold mine. The weird part is too, N64 was considered a failure. It didn't have the CD drive. The cartridges caused a lot of developers to go back and not support the system. We lost. We're part of Nintendo, but they lost Squaresoft. Yeah, they were Squaresoft back then. They weren't Square Enix, were they? I don't know. No, but a lot of people look back on the N64 as, whatever. But the N64 is a lot like a, I don't want to call it a Wii U, because Wii U, I guess, was a bigger failure. And plus the Wii U was weaker than the other systems. The N64 was a more powerful system than the PlayStation. So, we have that. Chris Wicks, thank you very much, all the way from Australia. Signing out, congrats on 1 year of Good Morning Pop Culture, Jeff. Well, Chris Wicks, thank you very much. Thank you for all you've done for us, all the time you spent watching us, traveling from Australia to America to meet us. Hope you're in California next year. 1 year. It goes by quick. I can't believe like when somebody's like, oh yeah, you realize Solo was like so many months ago? I was like, oh, what? Or, we're 5 months removed from Captain Marvel, essentially. I'm like, what? Well, no. Is March? Yeah, 4 months. International Women's Day was 4 months ago. I can't believe 4 months has gone by. Like, where's my life? Last week was just a blur. Yesterday, I barely remember. Before you know it, I'll be officiating my friend's wedding, which is going to be weird. It's going to be different. But yeah, I don't think of the N64 as a failure at all. I think of it as a good system with a lot of great games. If you stuck with the Nintendo exclusives, you had a lot of fun. Now, when you get to the multiplats, you have some issues with... hold on, Robbed at Funpoint, thank you very much. Had a free chat. Thanks, YouTube, LOL. Well, Robbed at Funpoint, thank you very much for giving us your free YouTube super chat. It's much appreciated. And shout out to YouTube. Could you please get your house in order? I'd appreciate that. GameCube was a failure. Still didn't stop me from buying Resident Evil 4. I had GameCube on the very first day. This isn't why I love my grandma, but I've told this story. She left church early. My grandma was the most religious lady in the world. Love her. Great woman. Always goes to church. She's 95, still drives to church. Same church, too. She'll go across town to make sure she supports the parish. But on that day, I think it was November 17th, 2001, she went to the halfway point of the Mass, took her communion, and said, let's go, and got me to Toys R Us, the one I filmed at. I was the second to last person in line. I got my GameCube, got the black one, got my memory card, I got my copy of Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, and it was a great day. She took me to breakfast, we locked the GameCube in the trunk so no one could steal it, and then I came home and played GameCube all day and all night. I will say, though, I did get out of the system relatively quickly, because it was that I was 13. I was like, yeah, I want some more adult games. So I was like, Metal Gear Solid and Grand Theft Auto and all this stuff. So I got a PS2 the following year. And then GameCube just kind of was there for the exclusives. But I did play the shit out of Smash Brothers. Resident Evil 4, though, that is one of my favorite Resident Evil games. I bought it for the PS4. I tried to 100% it. It's fantastic. 10 out of 10. You know, I'm obsessed with it. Tecmo Bowl. By the way, Rhino4563, if you love Tecmo Bowl, Kendo is the guy to talk to. Kendo loves that. He is, I believe he still plays like an updated version of it. I'll call Kendo in a second as soon as this damn thing will stop freezing on me. Like, hello, McFly. Come on, I want it to work. I want to have a guest on. I want to do this. I want to do that. Thank you, Star Wars for Life, for sending out the email to our channel as well. I did not see Brie Larson showing off her Jedi readiness. I don't like to start my day off by vomiting violently, but I guess I should check it out so we can make fun of it at a later date. Maybe tomorrow morning we'll make fun of Brie Larson, Jedi Knight, and Friend of No One. That's the title! Brie Larson. If anyone else makes a video with that title, they ripped me off. Okay, I'm 8:51 a.m. on July 9th, 2019. I came up with it. Sinbad the Pirate, shout out to you. That was a good joke. Ooh, people want to debate that Batman Returns is a great Batman movie. I would love to have like a fan debate. You know, like two fans come on, they want to debate something. I'll be the moderator. I'll be the was it the Charlie Rose who moderates debates? Well, did before he got the book thrown at him. I don't really know. I don't do politics. Hammer. N64's only failure was that it was cartridge-based, Jeff. Yes, it's true. Well, the thing is, though, when it came to some third-party games, and I know this is a technological restriction, Spider-Man, one of my favorite games ever, really sucked on the N64. Thankfully, I had the PlayStation equivalent. Tony Hawk sucked on the N64. They censored the music, which is, you know, they did by choice. That was that weird era where Nintendo was like, we can't have anything edgy. It's like Tony Hawk, you bleed when you fall. And the N64 version, it's sweat. It's like Mortal Kombat. So there were some restrictions on the system, but then they go balls to the wall with Conker's Bad Fur Day, and that game was nuts. So I don't know how the Nintendo thought process went. Yes, Kendo. Yes. EFAP wants to debate Spider-Man Homecoming with world-class bullshitters and geeks and gamers. Well, guess what? I'm going on it. I've already talked to Mahler yesterday. I agreed. So that's this Sunday. I think it's like 3 o'clock my time. I'll stick around for most of the show. I'm ready to debate Spider-Man. I'll rewatch Homecoming. I think I know what I'll do to debate it. Not only will I watch Homecoming and the Raimi flicks, I'll pull out my Marvel Masterworks, and we'll go back and we'll read the Ditko Lee era of Spider-Man. That way we can debate anything Spider-Man related. I'm pretty good. I know it doesn't really serve much of a purpose, but I feel like I'm always mentally prepared to debate Spider-Man. Thankfully, the movies come out every couple years, and we can talk about it, and people actually care. Like, next November, no one's going to care about Spider-Man, but I'll care. I always do. Huh, let me try that, Thunder Robots. Thank you. Control-Alt-Delete. Because I would like if that unfroze this damn computer. It's just the browser. The thing is, my computer's not frozen. It's Google Chrome. Wow! It's taking up a lot of resources right now. Let's see if that can be stopped. And we'll try to stop, what is this right here? Boom. No. Did it help? No, because now it's even more frozen. Like before I could see the chat scroll by, now it's all frozen. Okay, so Nick Ricada is up to talking to the fandom, and he's been on EVS's live stream, apparently. I'm open to, whoever. I want to entertain you guys. If, Nick Ricada is who you want on the channel, Nick Ricada is welcome. If you guys want me to talk to PewDiePie, if you can make that happen, sure. His name's Felix. He can join the show as well. So for those who are joining late, quick recap. The Walking Dead is ending. The comic book. So the book ended with a surprise cancellation. At the end of issue 193, there was a letter from Robert Kirkman that talked about how he wanted to surprise the listeners and how it's over and this and that. And it surprised me so much that I wanted to talk about it this morning. Dr. Coffin-Nails, thank you very much for your $5 super chat. Spider-Man's innocence being compromised. What about Spider-Man / Power Pack sexual abuse comic where Peter was molested by Stephen Skip Westcott? I know that reference. Didn't know the name, though. See, back then, the 80s, simpler time, but I won't say the topics, but the issues they would cover in some of these books, these public service announcements books, these they were heavier, sometimes heavy-handed, but they tried to do good. You know, Spider-Man had the drug issue in the 70s, which Stan Lee did himself. Then we had the Power Pack issue with the sexual abuse. There was the other Spider-Man one about domestic abuse. There were a lot of these books, and you're thinking, like, I've never heard of these. You used to just, like, get them from centers and stuff. I collected them through the years because they have Spider-Man on the cover, and I think John Romita drew it, so I had to because he's my favorite. But what the character went through was rough, but I think sometimes reading these stories can help people, victims of these abuses, come to terms with it or, work their way through it. And Spider-Man was still accessible. This was 1980, say just 86 or something. Maybe it was earlier than that. But this issue came out where we found out Peter was molested as a child and stuff, and it was terrible. But we also had Spider-Man be merchandised and have video games and cartoons and all this other stuff. And I just don't get why Disney's afraid to do that. I'm not saying you need to make Spider-Man and put him in all these terrible situations, but make him more real. Spider-Man's not Deadpool. He's not this. He's not that. He's way more complex. All the Marvel characters are complex. Iron Man, they wouldn't let him be an alcoholic in the movies. He should have been an alcoholic. Steve Rogers, he had issues. I'll give him that. He wouldn't have substance abuse issues because he's immune to it, but he had other issues. And I like my complex heroes. I like my heroes broken. So Dr. Coffin-Nails, shout out to you for giving a nice callback to something like that. Lorette Aline says, I've been silent for quite a long time. I think it's time for a rhyme. While only 5 lines, it follows guidelines, and fortune can turn on a dime. Ooh, you're back, Lorette Aline. We talked about you yesterday, actually. We were going through our list of Patreon because we're making some switches. I was like, Lorette Aline, I wonder whatever happened to that guy. So I know you're still cool with the channel. I'm glad you're back, though. I like your limericks. The dirty ones are my favorite. Any of them are good, though. I'm always happy to see those. Robbed at Fun Point says, by the way, I'm not trying to breeze through these. My thing is completely frozen, and once they leave the screen, they leave the screen. Speaking of Kendo, I'm sad to report I'm still the sole contributor of the Kendo Flair Fund. Now we shall take the shekels by force. What do you need, 30 pieces of Flair, Kendo? It's required. If you want me to wear 30 pieces of Flair, make the minimum 30 pieces of Flair. Office Space, great movie. We'll do a 20th anniversary, maybe, of that. Can you do commentaries on comedies? I think you can. We can try. Painkiller Studios says, can you get Mark Hamill on the High Council? First off, Painkiller Studios, thank you very much. I would love to try. That would be incredible. I mean, we interacted with William Shatner before the holiday break. We have the numbers. We have the fans. We have the right eyes on us at all time. I'd love to have Mark Hamill on. I like Mark Hamill so much. We could have a live show. We don't even have to talk about The Last Jedi. We could talk about Batman. But I know everybody wants to hear about The Last Jedi. Wouldn't you love it if for some reason he felt he came on the show, maybe we made a charity offer or some shit, and he goes, I'm gonna let all the beans out. And he just tells us all these crazy Last Jedi stories and goes on and on and on. Talk about great radio. That'd be the best thing we ever put out. Ever. I want that to happen so much. Let's see. Oh, God. Sorry it's frozen. I really, Kendo, maybe you need Blue Chew. No, we'll have Blue Chew sponsorship. Don't worry. Yeah. So, Kendo, give some shout-outs to Kendo. Kendo has gone out of his way to get us a Blue Chew sponsorship, and he's in the process of making that happen. So. My favorite version of Ethan's avatar is probably just the one looking at the phone, or the Rose Tico one. I don't know. I like them all. Get Shatner and Hamill on at the same time if it was so easy. Actually, you know what? That might be a little easier. Like, if you could convince William Shatner to do it like that, and you're like, to the Mark Hamill camp, like, we have William Shatner on. Would you like to join William Shatner to prove our legitimacy? Because once you have those guys on, you're kind of locked in where it's like, okay, good. Balto 2. There's a Balto 2? I thought Balto died. It's a dog racing movie. It's a cartoon. I remember watching that as a kid. I think it was Fox. Like Anastasia, Fox had their couple of animated features. I don't know if it was a hit or not. Okay, Google. Balto box office.
Balto's box office is $11,300,000.
Yeah, it wasn't a hit. But Snow Dogs made $115 million. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Bolt made $310 million. Was Snow Dogs Paul Walker?
Snow Dogs box office is $115 million.
That's Cuba. Wait. Yeah. Snow Dogs is Cuba Gooding Jr. 8 Below is Paul Walker. By the way, those movies made about the same at the box office, so people must kind of like Snow Dog racing films. Kendo, that's what our next film is. Oh. Yes, people be jealous of our thing. So, it's funny. I'm in such a great mood. I'm so happy to do this show. I got, all my stuff lined up. But my goddamn web browser. So I'm going to move into our next topic. I can read the super chats through the blurry screen. I'll continue to read those. I'm going to make me some more coffee. And we're going to keep on going with Good Morning Pop Culture Day. I also saw that it was National Cow Day today, which is fine if you're from the part of the world where the cow is a sacred animal. You enjoy your life. For me here in America, a cow is always a sacred animal because I love steak. Absolutely love steak. Now, if I start talking about food in the morning, it's not going to be good. Oh, I see a question about the comic. I have, like I told you guys yesterday, I sent a huge batch of the pages to the colorist. I have seen a small portion of some of those pages colored. I'm going to get high-res samples, and I'll share the high-res samples with a few things cut out for the sake of spoilers. Kendo has seen them. Kendo has seen a lot of the book, but he has seen the new pages back. I'm going to share one that you have no clue that it's part of the story. I don't know if I want to. It's really, really good. I think you'll get a kick out of it. I'll look at the pages, and I'll decide what to share and what not to share. But, like I said, you guys will be getting more updates as I get more stuff back. Just to let you guys know, it's a man of my word. It's almost done. It's almost there. We had hiccups, but we always pull through here on this channel. And we'll relaunch it. We got something special planned for that. And the next one will be done before I launch it. Swinging Cod, there you are, the man who made us watch Mother. Moon Blood Gold was hot in Snow Dogs. I know that lady. Wasn't she in one of the Terminators or something? Like the TV show? Let's see. Moon Blood Gold. What else was she in? Well, Moon Blood Gold is, yes, she's a good-looking woman. She's in Terminator Salvation. That's what she was in. And Falling Skies. And Faster with the Rock. I've never seen that movie. I miss The Rock doing serious but kind of bad action films. I have no clue why Piper Perabo is trending right now. Oh well. That's not relevant to this show. It was funny on Patreon. We were trying to come up with like our favorite actress in Hollywood for World Class Bullshit, because we have like our patron saint is Richard Donner. Our favorite actor is Paul Rudd. Our favorite movie. God, we never figured out our favorite movie. So maybe what is the channel's favorite movie? Is it Beverly Hills Cop? No. We'll wait for Dion and Nick to get involved. That way it's a fair question. Oh, wow. $50 super chat from Ruff Dealine. Holy shit. There once was a girl named Alice. Used a dynamite stick as a phallus. I found her vagina in North Carolina and the rest up in Buckingham Palace. Ah, yay. I think that's Alice all over. Tell me another verse. Worse than the other verse. My favorite one. So, I just had a very gross visual of a lady. I don't know. Well, you know what? I'm going to change it. It's the Lady Alice from the Brady Bunch. And what is inside of her. I'm sorry, Rethialine. You kind of caught me off guard because I'm literally just thinking about a woman with a, a dynamite stick dildo, and it goes boom. Boom goes the dynamite. Boom goes... boom goes your vagina. Ooh. Vaginamite. That's what you could name it. We could, Kendo, let's license some bad merchandise. Vaginamite, it's just dynamite that says that on the side. Think anybody will buy it? Probably. That's how they beat the Thing in Stranger Things. Dynamite, kinda. M80s, fireworks, shit like that. But thank you, Ref Dealing. That is a giant super chat. Whew. I haven't seen one of those in a while. We got a lot of love for, yes, Moist Visions Incorporated. We did say Walking Dead. We'll talk about that in a minute. Do we have any scientists in the house? Like any physicists? What would the amount of force be to blow a lady part from South Carolina to Buckingham Palace? Like, what force would be required? And is there enough, or is the lady part strong enough to where it wouldn't disintegrate? Like, could you fling it? Would you have to trebuchet it from North Carolina to Buckingham Palace? Let me know. We'll get scientific. The scientific backings of Mareth Yelene. That'd be a lot of fun. Let's see. David Hervey says, Random, have you seen Lupin the Third Part 5 this year? It's pretty good. Part 4 was meh, but still tolerable. Also, have you seen how manga is washing comics? Well, David, I have not seen Lupin the Third 5 this year. I have seen images of it, and I want to watch it. And I actually bought whatever the Italy season is, Part 4 on Blu-ray. I'm a fan of Lupin. I love the blue jacket. I bought the toy. I even got a Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, right here, actually. Cowboy Bebop Spike Spiegel figure, because I like the character a lot. He's a favorite. But I haven't seen Part 5. I'm one of those people, I know, this is bad. I do wait for the dubs, because a lot of times when I watch anime, which is not often, I'm doing my own artwork. There's something about it that's inspiring, so I'm drawing and I look over and I listen and stuff like that. I don't sit and watch. The only one that I watched the dub for a chunk of it was Death Note, because I thought it was only in Japanese on Netflix, and then I figured out how to switch it, and I went right back to English. Now, in terms of how manga is washing comics, do you mean like beating it in terms of like sales or quality? Because I remember a couple of years ago, there was the influence of, like you get the big eyes and this and that, and you see a lot of these artists implement the style. And admittedly, I'm not into that. I like manga, like classic manga I think looks beautiful. I like anime, I like what it is, but I also like American art, comic books, and cartoons. Like, I think the best looking cartoons were the ones that are semi-realistic. Like, I've been watching X-Men recently, and the episode where they're down in the sewer fighting off the, Lady Deathstrike's down there, and they're fighting off that energy force, and the rendering on Wolverine, he looks awesome. Like, if you bring back X-Men the Animated Series, please do, and make it realistic. Don't try to dumb it down, don't try to tone it down, don't make it manga or anime inspired. Like, you make it what it is, and I'd be happy with that. But manga, I like the idea of like short, concise stories. I'll never become a manga artist, but I'll continue to make the comics as long as you guys read them, and I will always be telling finite short stories. I don't want to make long, sprawling 20-year epics. I'm not Dave Sim. This isn't Cerberus or whatever he says it is. This is Jeff Hicks. I love concise stories. Star Wars, I can look at it as just one movie and be the happiest man on the planet. Everyone wins. The good guys win, the bad guys lose, we ride off into the sunset. But Empire Strikes Back's great. But David, thank you very much. If you have any clarification you'd like me to add, same with you, Mareth Dealing. If you want me to add anything to your giant super chat, just at me. Gladly do it. I appreciate it. Salvador says, National Cow Day? Lena Dunham and Amy Schumer have their own holiday? Play Gloria. Hashtag save the tick. Take me home, country roads. Use up the super chat. So, true story, when I was in Columbus, Dion came up, and I guess we were at dinner, we're talking about, like, celebrities we like, this, that, and the other, and, mine's Alexandra Daddario, and those big, oh god, her eyes. Anyway, I brought up Lena Dunham, and everyone's just like, ew, Dion, come on, dude. So, Dion, you are my best friend, but I will continue to make fun of you forever. Your love of Lena Dunham. You know what's good is that Amy Schumer hasn't been heard from for a while. Like, she's pregnant. I wish her the best of luck. I hope you have a very happy, healthy child. You and your husband or boyfriend or whatever you do get married. You have 20 other kids, and you live a very successful life. Just don't do any more stand-up. You're not funny. You know, I know I'm going to have to hear the vagina jokes after she's been preggers and the things, whatever. So, that's that. But no, that's legit. I was thinking about, like, you know, actual steaks, like a nice medium rare porterhouse from the Pine Club in Dayton, Ohio. I'm hungry. But I can't talk about that. Sorry. Let's see. Caddyshack is a great movie. Moist Visions Incorporated says, did somebody say Walking Dead? Well, our friend Moist Visions Incorporated, the only man to have an episode named after him. Yes, the Walking Dead comic book has been canceled abruptly. I will say, though, it did go out like a champ. I respect Robert Kirkman. For as much as I can shit on the show, the book had a lot of quality, and I like Robert Kirkman as a writer. And the story of Image Comics is very, very interesting. All those guys went on to be fairly successful or massively successful, like Todd McFarlane. Like, Ethan is a huge success, great artist. Todd McFarlane is worth $300 million. He took his comic books to another level, became a toy company. Todd McFarlane is the rock star of the comic book industry. You may not like his art. It took me a while to come around to it. There are still things I don't like. But him as a person, he's probably the most compelling artist to watch, just talk, listen. He's always been like that too. Like, some people come into their own. Jim Lee is a better artist technically, and he's had a great successfully financial career, but or financially successful career. But my God, Todd McFarlane, that might be my number one get on this channel. Like, you could say, well, what about, you know, The Rock? Yeah, The Rock would be awesome, but I think Todd McFarlane would be much more interesting to talk to. The Rock, I just, you know, want a high five and a couple pictures and can you threaten to whoop my candy ass like you did Stone Cold at WrestleMania 19? Even though I'm not bald, I have a full head of hair. I'm sure he would. I will watch faster. I'm looking at the old chat. I'm trying to catch up due to my frozen nature of my web browser. David Hervey says it's dubbed now. They're on episode 4. Okay, in regards to Lupin season 5. I will work my way through the Italian adventure. I liked it. I liked the art style a lot. I wish they would have used the Lupin the Third theme. At least in the first episode, I don't recall they using it. But I'll give it a watch. I like that kind of stuff. I like to think that I'm more open to experiences than I used to be. Etepicoians, the place to be reviews, gave another $1. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I saw the Rocket Planet Fitness yesterday, says Darth Thanos. Was he squatting 1 million pounds? I'm pretty sure the Rock can do that. Okay, not 1 million pounds. Quite a bit. We've talked about National Cow Day. That's the one problem and the one great thing about Good Morning Pop Culture. We'll go on tangents, and sometimes they'll go on for hours, and sometimes they'll go on for minutes. And it'll just be like, oh, okay, now what are we going to cover? So, folks, give me a funny topic to cover in the chat. Blow my mind. Tell me something that's going to either make me laugh or give me some meat. The Rock was banging and clanging. Somebody clearly knows about The Rock. Coolest dude in Hollywood. Wouldn't mind being friends with that guy. Actually, the funny thing is, beyond being a fan of his, the way he interacts with people is probably what I like about him the most. Okay, here we go. Moist Visions Incorporated says, I like The Walking Dead, comics especially. They never addressed the cause. I like that too. You know, you had Shaun of the Dead, which was the joke. Remember, I think it was caused by the meteor or whatever. If you listen closely, they kind of say it. Walking Dead, no. It just kind of happened. There was just something... I know this sounds really, like, dramatic, but there was something like when I first started reading the book. Like, the book was in black and white. Yes, everything around me was color, but I was in that world. I was definitely invested heavily in that... Robert, and the weird part is, too, it took place kind of close to me, a certain part of Kentucky. I'm like, okay, I get this. I'd be dead at this point. I mean, I know we'd all like to think that we're going to survive the zombie apocalypse and do all this crazy shit, but, you know, we're going to be in line somewhere, and boom, you're bitten on the neck. Imagine a zombie outbreak in the airport. That would be fucked, because you're stuck. Oh, man, like a zombie gets to the security lines, and then one gets on a plane. Yeah, that's how it spreads. That's how it spreads, folks. We need Stallone. Cobra's the cure. The Rock can bench at least 2 Amy Schumers. I don't know if The Rock's even that strong. The millions and millions of his fans only can give him so much energy. Was I moist this weekend? Asks Rhino4563. It was like 90-something degrees this weekend, dude. I was very moist. It was uncomfortably hot in Ohio. The humidity is killer. I have a wicked bad sunburn, too. Well, no, I take that back. The way my skin is, I get a sunburn for a day, and then I shit you not, my skin gets oily, and then like you can rub off the sunburn, and underneath it is nice tan. It only takes a day. So right now, my sunburn is gone. I just have an odd tan color to me. So, yes, I was moist from the heat, and now I'm kind of cool. I don't know, my house is still hot. There's a neighborhood. My house directly faces the sun at points. Kind of am right now. Not happy. Okay, so a zombie attack was done in an airport, according to Cesare Japan, in the Resident Evil CGI movies. Which, you know what? I should have remembered because I've seen that with Joel. I think all my zombie stuff comes from Joel. I should have him on a stream one day. If enough of the audience would show up for that, he would love it. Because Joel and I, excuse me, Joel's older. Joel will be 50 next year. Joel's ex-military. He was in the Navy for quite a while. Good dude, hard worker. A little eccentric, a little weird, but we all are. But Joel is like a lot of the listeners out there. You know, he loves his entertainment. He hates what's going on. You know, people would love to call him a racist, but he's not. And, you know, based on his dating history, he clearly isn't. That's as much as I'll say publicly. But Joel's a good friend. Top 5 friends for sure. Love the dude. And we used to do essentially what we do on the podcast, but just the 2 of us. And, you know, I was a little less experienced in terms of my pop culture absorption. Is that the right way to say it? I knew my Spider-Man. I knew my movies. I knew all this stuff. I was very much the same, but at the same time, you know, because of him, like yesterday with Wrath of Khan. I had never seen Wrath of Khan before Joel. I had never experienced The Rock, the movie. You know, just certain things like Joel and I would watch it, and my pop culture knowledge would expand. We'd have these discussions. We'd get into these arguments, these debates, old comics. He's like, you gotta love George Perez. I'm like, who the fuck is George Perez? And now I'm like, George Perez is not only a great dude, he's a great artist and one of my personal favorites. So, I mean, you know, that was a very interesting time. But we watched so much zombie stuff. And quick side note, too. Joel, I remember he came to Chicago Celebration, so some of you could have met Joel. He had glasses, brown hair, he's an older guy. He was really upset that he didn't get to hang out with Ethan, because he loves Ethan's work well before you guys knew who Ethan was, unless you were reading him as a comic book artist. And Joel was like, man, I am so happy that this worked out for you. And, you know, it's cool. Joel's actually still a part of the channel, you just don't know it. So if you're ever following us on Facebook and you see those great jokes or memes like, you know, Keanu Reeves as Jesus and stuff like that, that's all Joel. Joel sits and he curates that list for us. He's part of our social media backbone, so shout out to Joel. He's working right now. Busy, but, you know, he always makes his way to WrestleMania and we have fun, so. Uh-oh. Darth Vader's disembodied Chart Phallus is back. It was hot? Tell me more about the heat and your sunburn. See me in my own Star Wars movie next year. Darth Vader disembodied, a Chart Phallus story. You know what I could actually do for you? I should do this down the road. Darth Vader's disembodied Chart Phallus. Legally, I can make you a shirt that says disembodied, a Chart Phallus story, like the Solo logo, and not have any ramifications, because it's nothing, you know, the legality behind it is fine. Press 1, folks, if you'd like me to do that. I would love to, we love all you guys out there, but there are certain fans that make yourselves very known to us. Darth Vader's disembodied Chart Phallus, Moist Visions. You know who you guys are. You definitely know, like, you've become a part of the show. Darth Vader's disembodied Chart Phallus actually tweeted you this week. I hope, guys, check out the tweet. So I barbecued with Jesse, and I sent out a picture of a very burnt hot dog, and may not have been a hot dog, may have been Darth Vader's disembodied Chart Phallus. So much fun. Like I said, thank you guys. You definitely make this a lot of fun. That is why we continue to do it, and we continue to put in the work, because it grows. We meet more people. We entertain. You entertain us. It's a very good thing. And like I say behind the scenes, what I love about this the most, and I know this sounds very technical, is that we're on the right side of history. And I don't mean like in terms of like morality, but we're on the right side of like the technological advances. You know, as technology grows and there's new integrations and stuff, we can be a part of it. So for as much as you guys like us, it's not like we're being phased out, like we're public access or something small that people don't, consume. We're there, YouTube, whatever other social media platforms, and we're going to continue to be on those. We'll be there, and you guys are making that possible, so thank you. I know that's a random thank you right in the middle of the show, but sometimes you sit down and you think about stuff, and you're like, wow, got a lot of good stuff going on. I'm very happy. So, real quick, I'm going to jump to two topics, back to The Walking Dead for a moment, because we had a lot of new people come in. So, I don't know, I think Robert Kirkman did it because, I know why. Robert Kirkman did it, I read the article the other day, he said that he felt like there was no good way to end it, and he tried since, I think, 2015 to end the comic book, and he's just been kind of like, spent years and years trying to do it, and there was just no right way, so it just ends. And, I know some people hate, like, in movies where the screen goes black or this or that. You're like, what? Come on! Or you have that Inception twist ending, or is it even a twist ending? You'll never know. I get that. I understand people want finality. I do, too, for a lot of stuff. I want another season of Dexter to fix it. I want Spider-Man 4, because Spider-Man 3 has a shit ending. Like, believe me, I understand about wanting finality to a story you love, or a story you're invested in, or just, can't help but follow because it's a train wreck. I get that. Sometimes I do like the twist, the shock, the aha moment, but I do understand the desire for the end. But I respect Robert Kirkman for knowing that he couldn't come up with an ending that he liked, so he just ended it right then and there. It's like, it's over. What? And it got people talking. It drove up the value of the issue. People are dying to read it. I want to read it. I'm just going to read it online to know how it ends. That's all I care about. The book, like I said, the book, much more enjoyable for me, at least, than the show. But I will admit, some of my perceptions of the show has colored my perception of the comic book and the community and all this stuff. So I've kind of taken a step back from the Walking Dead culture. Like, you guys know this about me. It's not about fake fans. It's not about new fans. It's sometimes when you're overwhelmed by, like, an abundance of Walking Dead, you're just like, oh, I need a break from all of it. Nick knows. Working the horror conventions, pre-Walking Dead, during Walking Dead, and now soon to be post-Walking Dead. Well, actually, to be fair, the Walking Dead hype has died a lot. Like, 2 months ago, 2 months ago, everyone couldn't stop talking about Game of Thrones because it was ending. 2 years ago, people just stopped talking about Walking Dead because it got stupid. So if you're into it, more power to you. Never gonna knock you for your tastes, but I will say, I'm glad it's almost over. Has Daisy Ridley somewhat redeemed her stance in public eyes after her more recent comments, Jeff? Well, the thing with me is, I don't dislike her personally. I don't like the character Rey. For me, Daisy Ridley was cool because she's honest. I've seen her new comments. I'm laughing them. I'm loving them. I'm laughing at them, and I love them. But when she came out and told the truth about her social media bullying in quotation marks, and was like, it's not Star Wars fans, it's this and it's that, I respected her because, you could play the victim card and wait a couple of years and all this stuff and let the fans argue and bitch about it. But Daisy Ridley was always kind of honest from the get-go. Not a great actress, maybe could be a great person. I mean, I'll never meet her, but, we could be cool. Her more recent comments, good for her. I don't know. I never really hated her. I do hate the character Rey. Daisy Ridley could come out and say, hey, everyone, subscribe to World Class Bullshitters, make me $1 billion, and I would love her, and I would want to, send her on a vacation as a thank you. But I still hate the character Rey. There's just something, you know what it is. She's so perfect. She's so, like I told you guys, you can get away with nostalgia and hype and excitement for so long. But then once you start to think about things logically, things fall apart. Maybe I was too cold for The Force Awakens to, get me, but I'm kind of glad that I saw it through in the beginning, and now we're here. So, yeah, I don't hate her, never have hated her as a person. She's not Kathleen Kennedy causing issues. Like, Daisy Ridley doesn't make Star Wars suck. Rey sucks. she doesn't help the fact anyway. And she's poorly written, poorly acted, just bleh. But she's not behind the scenes making these decisions. That's why when I talk about, Kathleen Kennedy or Bob Iger or J.J. Abrams, and you're thinking, well, you just hate J.J. Abrams. I fucking do. I don't like him. I don't know him as a person, not a fan. But the thing about J.J. Abrams and me is, he has more pull than any other director. So that is why I bring attention to what he does, because he is, dangerous to creativity. He is not, a friend of creativity and originality. And no, we're not lying about The Walking Dead ending. The Walking Dead has ended. The comic book was abruptly canceled after issue 193 without any solicitations, without any notifications. It just ended. Robert Kirkman ended the book. My frozen screen would say otherwise. I have the Polygon article pulled up. You can just type in Walking Dead ended or canceled. You will get yourselves a myriad of articles, and you can read those for yourself, including the letter from Robert Kirkman. And, check it out. Yep, Odin, it makes a lot of people sad. Yeah, Cesar Japan, I think the genre of zombie is probably dead. It's one of those things where we had so much of it so quickly. Again, I don't. When I say the old days were whatever, it's not because I'm trying to say I've been a fan for so long and it was so cool. But when you had your Romero flicks and then Shaun of the Dead and a few other zombie movies every once in a while, they felt special. When we had so much, it's zombie, zombie, zombie. You could watch iZombie. You could watch Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. You could watch Zombie Nation or Z Nation or whatever it is. You can read these 12 comic books, play these 12 video games, Dead Island, Dead Rising, Dawn of the Dead. What's the other Dead one? Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead's a fun game. Great memory. So, side note story. I love to tell these because there's no other context to ever tell them. And plus, you guys might like it. So, a couple Thanksgivings ago, I played Left 4 Dead for most of the day with our announcer. That British voice that you hear? The following is a world-class bullshitters exclusive. Her name's Lauren. We met on chat roulette. True story. Great person, great woman, great singer. And she's like, hey, play Left 4 Dead with me. And she's pretty decent at it. And we spent Thanksgiving playing it. And it was one of those Thanksgivings where, I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to big food holidays, I try not to eat too much. I just want to get to the main event and then, go crazy. But for some reason, my mom made this big breakfast, and then we went to somebody's house for dinner, and it didn't stop me. But I just remember Left 4 Dead and her. I also remember playing it with my buddy Toph in college because it was brand new, and if you shot at the witch and she screamed at you and you didn't get away or kill her fast enough, you were done. Oh, man. That's the kind of zombie shit I get nostalgic for and really miss the fun nature of it. There was that one game, Evolve, that was supposed to be 4 friends versus a monster online, and I was going to buy that and get the other guys on the channel to get it eventually, and we were going to be hey, we're going to play this game, we're going to make a thing of it. And it didn't take off. Make another Left 4 Dead. What is it? They only made 2 of them, right? There's no Left 4 Dead 3. Do a Left 4 Dead 3, put it on PlayStation, I'll get us copies, Kendo, we'll all play it, we'll live stream it, we'll have some fun. Now, remember, Daniel, I have not watched Game of Thrones. That is why when we had the Game of Thrones explosion in popularity for guys like Nerdrotic and Doomcock, I didn't get involved because I don't know Game of Thrones. It's not my cup of tea. Now, Walking Dead, I will say the last 3 seasons because it's the only thing I can answer to you. Now, I wanted to answer a question. Somebody asked about Doctor Who. When I was talking about Joel, it was funny because Joel and I used to watch Doctor Who, and I've recently gone back and I've watched some Doctor Who. It was weird. I was at a party on Saturday night, and they were talking about, David Tennant, Eccleston, Matt Smith, the modern Doctors. And I talked about my favorite episode, and nobody knew what it was. I was kind of hurt that nobody knew my favorite episode. It's the Absorbaloff episode. It was about a guy named Emmett, and they started this supernatural thing called Linda, I think. And it was just a fun human story about these people that were searching for the Doctor. And, at the end the Doctor shows up, and he's real. And the weirdest part is the Absorbaloff swallows this guy's girlfriend. She's like, oh, Emmett, help me. Blah. Or Elton. Elton's his name, not Emmett. Emmett's Dr. Emmett L. Brown. His name's Elton. And he, the Doctor, the only way to save this guy's girlfriend is is either she's gone forever or he can save part of her. So she becomes like a stone tile with a face and they hint at like what they can do in a relationship type of thing, and it's just a funny, bizarre ending. And I absolutely love that episode so much. Moaning Myrtle plays the girlfriend. I guess, is that... What's her name? Because she is, Moaning Myrtle right here. Oh, is that Harry Potter? Shirley Henderson? Never... Yeah, that's definitely her. I believed you. That woman has a prominent eyebrow. Well, if she left it alone, it would just be one. But, yeah, she's a very unique-looking person. We'll just put it like that. But that is my favorite Doctor Who episode. For anyone who wonders. Yeah, Tim, you've seen it a lot. I like Doctor Who. I don't love it anymore. I fell out of love with it towards the end of the Matt Smith run, but there was a point where I couldn't miss an episode. I bought a Tennant figure. If they were to put out more David Tennant merchandise, I'd probably still buy it. I have Doctor Who glasses, and I even think I have Doctor Who pajama pants. Joel bought me a Doctor Who t-shirt. It's the one where it's the TARDIS on the moon. Yeah, cool stuff. I like geek culture, but I like geek culture. I only love some of it. You know, if I sat and told you how much of a Doctor Who fan I am, a Whovian, again, I think I'd be bullshitting you. Shout out to our friend Star Wars for Life in the chat, folks. Listen to her. Everything she says is right. And give this stream a thumbs up. Day of the Doctor. Why do I know that episode off the top of my head? The title, let's see. Make sure I know the actual... Okay, Doctor episode, Day of the Doctor. Oh, okay. I do know that one. It's a good one. Joel had moved away by that point, but I still watched it online. Walter, it's okay that you're late, dude. It's fine. I don't expect the dude to be on time. Just that you're here, and that's what matters the most. Kendo, it's still frozen, by the way, or else I'd love to invite you in. I don't want the stream to crash, though. That's the thing. If I try to get it to unfreeze, there's anything. There's very few programs running on this computer because I got the audio recording on a separate thing. Why did I hit print screen? Let's see. Let's try to get the task manager because I really want this to unfreeze. I want to call in Kendo. We got some stuff we want to talk about. You guys can have questions for Kendo. That's actually a good segment. Questions for Kendo. You can ask about sports. You can ask about wrestling. I didn't watch Raw last night. I don't think most people did either. Come on, computer. This computer's not even that old. It's like 2 years old at that. That just pisses me off. And I don't download anything. This is my work computer exclusively. Why are you frozen? I never did see the Peter Cushing Doctor Who flick, Thunder Robots. I've known about it. I've seen it. It's like something, the Daleks. But I just didn't, really search it out. It's not necessarily something I was dying to see. Yeah, I expected it to be Trash Care Companion. I'm glad that I didn't miss anything. Can we get an update on Anna, that Star Wars girl? Well, Michael, I have really haven't heard too much, to be honest with you. I reached out to Anna when her sister went missing, and I talked to her before the live stream, on the live stream. It's going as well as you guys can expect. You lose a sibling, it's a rough time. Again, everyone was so cool, and I don't say cool to like downplay, but everyone was so respectful and caring and all those things. Cool is just like a coverall word, but everyone was so understanding and great about what happened. It's a tragic thing, but everyone in the Fandom Menace community has been great. I haven't heard anything at all. I just know that she's still upset. That's all I know. She's still upset, and rightly so. Rightly so. So, I'm looking forward to hearing from Anna. She's always so pleasant, so positive, and, you never want her to lose her smile. And she'll be back, and she'll be, you guys will get your fix of that Star Wars girl. We'll see her at Celebration and stuff like that, and everything's going to work out. But right now, she's just in the grieving process. It's still such a recent thing. With the holiday and all this stuff, it just, the last couple of weeks have been a blur. but I'm sure for her every day has been a struggle. So that's all I've heard. Just, continue to be respectful, send some positive thoughts to Anna, and when she's back, I'm sure she will greatly appreciate all you guys. So, let's see. Trying to read the other chat on my phone. Question for Kendo. Why does my dad drink and cry and make him... Why does my dad drink and cry when I make him watch The Last Jedi? That came from Bro Paulo Creed. And Kendo says, because your dad clearly hates that movie because it's shit. So that's a question for Kendo. Hashtag, you know what, folks? You can do a hashtag questions for Kendo on the podcast, and he'll read them on the show proper. How's that? That could be fun. Well, Salvador, I'll take those thumbs down from the spam box. We got all you guys to smash that melee button. Pound it into oblivion. Beat its ass. Treat the thumbs up like it's Ryan Johnson. You know what to do. So, is there anything you guys else want to cover? I know we used to do the Ask Jeff segment. I would gladly do that. As soon as this stops freezing and being a bitch, we'll have Kendo on. Kendo's got some time today. So, by the way, real quick, I brought this up yesterday. So obviously we know YouTube's having weird hiccups. Like videos will come out, they'll do well, then they'll stop. It's just an issue. It's facing all of us. Ethan, Jeremy, myself, all YouTubers. I thought it was just me. I was kind of like having a rough day, but it's okay. But I do want to say one thing. So I put out a video 2 months ago called Brie Larson, Marvel's Kryptonite, and that video was sitting at like 715,000 views, which is a lot. That's a great YouTube video. I wish every one of my videos could do 715 minimum. I would have moved out of this house by now and gone on an international tour of like visiting the fans. Kendo, I would have brought you with me. But for some reason, this one old video has jumped even more. Like it was at 715 not too long ago. It has more. It's now at 771. It keeps jumping up. It was at 765 yesterday. That's awesome for an old video. I expect that to jump to 1 million. Now, it's got a ways to go. To pass the next highest video, it has to get another 200,000 views. But at the rate it's going, it's probably going to happen. And if this beats my Kathleen Kennedy video to become the second most viewed video on the channel, I think we need to collectively send Brie Larson a thank you card. Like, we'll find out who her agent is, and we'll mail her a card that says, Dear Brie, thank you for all you've done for world-class bullshitters. Signed Jeff. And I'll send her a gift card to, like, some wine place or something. Oh, thank you, Brie Larson. Thank you. Jeff the Iron Wolf is here, folks. Shout out to that dude. Again, one of the handful of listeners that I've met. One of the few I've met multiple times. Dude came to Indianapolis with his wife, brought his wife to Star Wars Celebration. Good people. Jeff, I hope you come to Horror Hound in September. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, I did see that. You know what, Cesare Japan, thank you for the topic. That's perfect. The Freeform TV has defended the race swapping for Ariel. I saw that. Let me pull up a thing and I will read that. Because I was on social media and I saw it. Now, let's see. Freeform TV, Ariel. And let's see. News. So I'll be honest, I'm getting to a point where it's like, I hate all this shit. Especially with this Little Mermaid. Like, I was never going to see it. Wait, Sarah Hyland and Ariel Winter joined Modern Family cast. That's old news. That show's been on for like a decade. I can't find it. Somebody tweet me the link real quick. Because I'll gladly talk about it. Will I do more live streaming choosing a certain movie to watch with your friends? Yeah. Now, cheap plug, patrons do determine a lot of what we do in terms of live streaming for movies or recording. Because the way Kendo works, Nick and Dion work, it's kind of hard to get our schedule. Like, honestly, if we all had, like, if every night from 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock till midnight was free, we would probably record and do stuff every night. But I have a commitment to the High Council. I am a founding member of that show, so clearly Tuesdays are out of the question, and Thursday night is the podcast, which you guys love. We want to do more stuff. We like live streaming. You really want to just listen to this Thursday night show at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will get an update on some of the stuff we're going to be doing, and it's all good. We're not taking, like I said, when we say we're making changes, it means we're just adding more, giving you guys more entertainment for your time and your money. Never taking away. So just be on the lookout for that. Rhino4563 says, we would have met at WrestleMania if you didn't blow me off. Lousy. LOL. Well, I'm sorry, Rhino4563, that I didn't meet up with you at WrestleMania. I apologize. Let's see. The first day, I drank with my friends, and that was all I remember. And the next day, we ate and we drank. And the next day, we ate and we drank. I'll be honest, Rhino4563, that WrestleMania trip was basically like a New York City vacation, and then we did some wrestling stuff. But if when I come to certain areas, I will do my best to meet up with people. Sometimes it's hard. Sorry. I don't know, New York, I don't need an excuse to go to New York. I love New York. It was fun. I wouldn't want to live there, but I got to meet Cecil and do some other stuff. Now, Reiner, did you actually go to WrestleMania? What did you think of the event? I'm going next year to WrestleMania. Maybe that's a time where we'll take... I'm going to go hang out with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers during next WrestleMania. I'm probably going to go deep sea fishing with him. We're going to charter a boat, and we're going to go out. I don't know why I like boats. Maybe it's a culture or a class thing. I just like the water. I don't like sharks, but I like boats. We'll get the bullshitters. We'll all go out on a boat. We'll either live stream, and if we can't have service, we'll just go out on a boat and we'll film shit, and we'll go fishing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lou DeMarzo. Lou, what is up? Hey, Jeff, question. Doc told Marty after he got struck by lightning that he was living happily in the past 8 months in 1885. Don't you think it's messed up that he waited that long to write him that? Maybe he was just so happy that he just didn't give a shit. Back to the Future 3, when I had my interview with Retro Blasting, which is still one of my favorite channel moments, we talked about Back to the Future 3 and how when you hit a certain age and you watch it at the right time, it's going to hit you the right way. Now, I understand, and I agree with what Michael said to me. Now, Marty went back to save Doc from being shot in the back for the amount of $80, that kind of shit. But I don't know how I feel about, some of the other stuff Marty caused for Doc. I know he ended up getting, helping Doc fall in love, and that's all good and pure. But, Doc was working as a blacksmith in the film. So maybe he was just busy. You gotta think, though. Think of it from Doc's perspective. Maybe he needs to write Marty. But the first thing you gotta do is, you gotta hide that car. Because people might think you're the devil or some shit, or they wouldn't know what to think of it. They might think you're crazy. So you might get yourself killed by that. So he has to hide that in the quarry. Then he has to get to town. Then he has to set himself up. You've seen all the things he's made, too. He made the ice cube maker. He did the telescope. All those things. Doc was busy busting his ass in 1885 to bring some of the comforts of 1985 100 years in the past. And it's so weird, watching Back to the Future, because we are further from Back to the Future now than it was from 1955 when it came out. And just to think, it's 55 to 85 is vastly different, but 85 to 2019 is even more different, and it's crazy to think. In many ways, we're nowhere near as advanced as 2015 was for, Back to the Future 2, but in other ways, we're further, more advanced. Society seems to be dumber than ever, which, that was that to be expected. I take that back. I don't know if society's as dumb as ever. I think, society just kind of builds up and glorifies the stupidity because it makes for good clicks, it makes for good news, it makes for good headlines. I get it. I understand, believe me. But at the same time, I think we're better off. Now, Flying cars and hoverboards, I'd love for that to happen. We had our equivalent of 2015 hoverboards, and Mike Tyson almost killed himself on one. And I love Mike Tyson. Now I kind of want to watch Back to the Future, too. Back to the Future is a summer movie. Like in Stranger Things, they go watch Back to the Future in theaters. And I liked that, and it was fun, and they had their little Back to the Future moment. But they didn't go overboard on Back to the Future. I will say, though, last night when I had my business meeting with the guys, I said to them, it didn't meet my Tears for Fears quota. And Nick goes, does anything ever meet your Tears for Fears quota? And I'm like, yes, Real Genius and Watchmen. What does that mean? If you're having something based in 1985, you got to end it with Everybody Wants to Rule the World. It's the most cliched 80s song, but it's the perfect way to end it. But Lou, thank you very much. Now I'm going to be questioning Back to the Future all day. Somebody sent me a Back to the Future Hot Wheel, and I got it on my windowsill. So, I'm gonna pick up this car and play with it right now as I read this next message from Rhino4563. Thank you very much, Rhino. Yeah, I was there. I was in a box, thank God. I thought there were only 2 good matches. It went way too long. I left with 3 matches to go. We had been in the place since 1 p.m. tailgating. Okay, so I got to the arena at 3 because we weren't from there, so I didn't have anywhere to tailgate. I wish I would have known I would have tailgated with you. We would have went across the street, bought booze, and you could have hung out with Dion and myself from the show. You could have met Joel, and you could have met Dan. And Dan is scary because he doesn't talk. He just will stare at you. But he won't touch you, don't worry. He's not violent. Well, he's violent, but he doesn't like jail, so he won't go back. We weren't in a box. We were crunched together in one of the $350 seats, which sounds like a lot, and it is, but, it's New York, and it means nothing. Technically New Jersey, I know. The 2 matches that you thought were good, let me guess. Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, and AJ Styles, Randy Orton? Because I thought those were the 2 best matches of the night. Personally, I felt that the pay-per-view was way too long. Never again will I watch a WrestleMania. Okay, I take that back. I'm going next year. But I don't want it to be till 1 a.m. Like, folks, we appreciate that you guys stay with us at the High Council on Tuesday nights. You're already kind of in your flow of the work week type of thing. Some of you stay up no matter what. You work at night, you're up at night, you're in different parts of the world. WrestleMania started at 7 o'clock, went till 12:40, and people had to work the next day. This was the week of Star Wars Celebration, that Sunday, going into the show, which would have started that Thursday. Yeah, that's just too long of a fucking pay-per-view. We stayed the whole time, and then when Becky Lynch got her pinfall, we ran out. Like, we literally ran out of the arena and called an Uber and got back at like 1 or no, close to 2, got up, and caught an Uber to the airport and flew home the next morning. It was just too long of a show, man. I like that, Vince wants to give you more bang for your buck, but Vince, 8 matches at WrestleMania maximum. Give us many months build. Don't have these matches that just start 2 or 3 weeks before and we're going to have a match. No, you need to plan out WrestleMania now. I want to see, AJ Styles in the main event. Give Ricochet a good match. All these people, give them a good build and spend the next... Like, that's the only downfall of the Attitude Era proper. Yes, WrestleMania 17 was technically in the Attitude Era. All the WrestleManias just only had like a very... They had build, but the other parts of the year were bigger. Like, bring us back that level of booking as well as, big payoff. We need more. Oh, shit, Cesare Japan sent the tweet. Hold on, Cesare Japan. I'll have to play it. Okay, on my phone. Thank you, by the way. Wait. I don't want to sign in on... Wait, that's my private account. Okay, here we go. So... Freeform TV, which I believe somebody said is like ABC Family. I see that on TV all the time at the gym. I don't watch it. Freeform TV, an open letter to the poor, unfortunate souls. Hashtag Little Mermaid, hashtag Ariel, hashtag My Ariel. Before we get into this, I don't really like... I mean, ironically, the hashtag Not My Spider-Man or whatever works, but like when you use it as like, seriously like this, I'm saying My Ariel. You don't... The thing is... Freeform TV, you don't have an Ariel. This film hasn't been made. You don't have anything to glom onto. Like, you just go show how shallow you are and all this bullshit. It's like, oh, this is my version of Ariel. Like, the motherfucker hasn't even been made yet. You have no version to stand on. Even if you want to just, grandstand and hot dog and all this other bullshit and try to talk about how, well, I'm progressive and this is how I choose to, my representation of Little Mermaid is this. It doesn't exist yet. You don't have one. by that same accord, in my brain, Yondu is green, the Hulk is 2 feet tall. Like, that's my Hulk, the 2 feet tall Hulk. Or, Tiny Daddy from SNL or something stupid like that. It just, you can go on and on about this. These open letters, kiss my ass, Freeform TV. By the way, Rhino4563 sent a super chat that says, bro, $60 booze and food included. Kofi match and Shane match, actually. Way too long. Batista, Triple H, worst goddamn match. Okay, so I got you on the Kofi match. I was there. The Shane Miz match was good. I kind of liked the ending, but it was a little... There were a few down moments. I would have loved to sit in the box. We try to sit on the floor each year, like fairly close, like that second set of risers, but it didn't work. We paid even more money than in New Orleans, and we got those crappy seats. Because New Orleans for $310, we sat on the floor risers. We popped the little tags between the chairs, and we had a comfortable thing. But it was great. By the way, Rhino4563, if you ever want to talk about wrestling, shoot me a tweet or have Kendo forward the email. But we'll talk about it all day. I'm pumped for this AEW show this weekend. So Freeform says, yes, the original author of The Little Mermaid was Danish. Ariel is a mermaid. She lives in an underwater kingdom in international waters and can legit swim wherever she wants. Okay, so first off, Freeform, official Twitter, she can legit do this. Can we have some, we need proper Jenny to write the tweets for these people, because this is PR. And this is very poorly written PR. I don't care if it's social media and it's meant to be less formal. It's social media. It represents your corporation. How about, you want us to respect your decisions? Well, how about you respect our intelligence? Because it gets dumber. That says, she can legit swim wherever she wants, even though that often upsets King Triton. Absolute zaddy. I have no clue what that means. But for the sake of argument, let's say that Ariel, too, is Danish. Danish mermaids can be black because Danish people can be black. So, Freeform TV, could you please get me the breakdown, the census of whatever year the Little Mermaid was created, and get me the Danish population, cultural population, so I can shit on your stupid tweet. My argument always boils down to, if it's an adaptation of something, make it look like it. The dumbest argument I swear to God I've ever heard about this is, it never says the color of these comic book characters. They don't even say how they look. Why do you have to adapt them a certain way? Because they're drawn that way, because they exist that way. That's what they look like. Are you a fucking idiot? Danish people can be black. Ariel can sneak up to the surface at any time with her pals Scuttle and Jamaican Crab Sebastian, sorry Flounder, and keep that bronze base tight. Black Danish people, and thus merfolk, can also genetically have red hair, but spoiler alert, bring it back to the top. The character Ariel is a work of fiction, so after all that is said and done, you can still not get past the idea that choosing the incredibly sensational, highly talented, gorgeous Halle Bailey is anything other than inspired casting because she doesn't look like the cartoon one. Oh boy, I have some news for you about you. Well, oh boy, I have some news about you. You're a fuck. Sorry. This is why I don't cover this, because I get mad at the only reason I will ever attack bullshit like this is these SJW people are going to eat themselves. They'll spin out, they'll die, they'll just disappear. It's the smugness that I can't stand. It's like, look it, your logic is not only broken, it's just dumb. There can be black Danish people. Okay, there can be. But were there a lot back in the day? There can also be black Chinese people and black Russians. This is the same shit about, remember when Chernobyl was a thing? And everyone was all up in arms. There's not any black people. Well, it's a fucking fiction. It's a retelling of an account that happened in Soviet Russia in, 1986? They're based on real people. The real people were white Russian people. Get over it. 2019... the future of whatever you're trying to do, just stop. Because all you do is come off as hollow. Maybe you, instead of trying to change the color of a character, just give a good character. Like I said, I'm drawn to certain characters, not because they're black, but because they're great. And I know I use this example all the time, but it is my favorite, is Axel Foley. Love Eddie Murphy, charismatic dude, one of the all-time greats in all of entertainment. Here's the thing about Eddie Murphy. People might think, well, he's made shitty movies for 20 years. Yeah, he hasn't really had a great film since Bowfinger. But you got to understand something. Eddie Murphy went from having the highest grossing film of almost the entire decade to having a huge album with almost a #1 hit, and just making hit after hit after hit after hit movie. I mean, he had his own production company. He was 23 in Beverly Hills Cop. That dude, all the respect in the world. And I think it's more important to respect the achievements of a real black person than to worry about these fictional representations in a movie. It's like, oh, Ariel's black, it's so great, it's so empowering. Is it though? Because some white dude or some really stupid people made these decisions to try to build up social media cred. And as we've learned, social media cred means dick. We made the argument, well, Disney never has a flop, this, that, and the other. Dumbo was not a hit. 2019's box office is down. It keeps going down each year. By the time we get to the 2021 Little Mermaid or the 2020 Little Mermaid, expect it to be a less of a return. And especially with the Little Mermaid, I have read a lot of comments that women liked Ariel, especially redheaded women, because they had red hair, people identified. Maybe, Ethan made that point on the High Council once about, maybe women like certain characters because they see themselves in them or they identify or whatever. I don't know exactly what he says. You can go back and find it. It had Anna, that Star Wars girl, in the episode, so that'll help you with titles. It was last year, I think. You don't have to... Again, nobody looks like me. Racially, size-wise, whatever. Like, Andre the Giant died when I was 5. We never had the spirit-animal connection until now. The point is, you don't have to look like these characters to identify with them. I don't look like McClane, but I like his internal struggle. I don't look like Laurie Strode, but I like her fighter mentality. I don't act like I don't have anything in common physically with Robin Williams, but I understand why he would go to the lengths he went to be with his kids type of thing. So, I mean, you can identify with well-made characters. This is a publicity stunt. This is dumb. This is a turnoff. Like I said, personally, this channel was never going to cover The Little Mermaid. We didn't grow up liking it. Maybe Dion saw it because he has a twin sister and that, she's age appropriate. But maybe not. Dion's family, it's funny. The way today's society works, they think because you're black, you have to grow up on black movies, and if you're white, you grow up on white movies. But Kendo has seen way more, like, we talked about Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. And on paper, you wouldn't think a guy like Kendo would like that movie, but he fucking loves it. All this stuff. It just depends on well-made films, what appeals to who. It's all about personal taste. And I think it's so regressive when you have to say black people like this, and white people like this, and Asians like this, and this is representation. No. The world's a melting pot. Love's love, hate's terrible, all this other dumb shit. But, you can look through skin color. Skin color is very irrelevant. If you're attracted to one type of person, and other people aren't, that's okay. You like that type. You like whatever. And it's not just necessarily like an attraction, a physical thing. You like what you like. There's nothing wrong with it. The way everything goes today, it just gets so murky. They try to make it be something it's not. They turn it into something, and you just turn me off. Like, to not spend money on Disney is easier and easier every day. I'm trying to think what Disney could put out that I would spend money on. Like, I know you say, well, Marvel movies are whatever. Yeah, but you gotta understand, from my perspective, Marvel's been Marvel longer than Disney's owned Marvel. So in my mind, there's still that disconnect of, it's not really a Disney thing. And I know The Little Mermaid's an adaptation, and Disney's built on adapting old shit. They've always been about stealing people's stuff and making it their own. But when making it their own meant innovations in animation and music and this and that, I liked that more than we're going to race swap and we're going to fight our audience. I ironically said, what would Walt do? I don't give a shit. I don't think Walt Disney, obviously times were different. I don't think Walt Disney would fight his audience on this. These bold, brave choices are not bold and brave at all. They're race-baity and stupid, and they do less for, society on a cultural level. It makes people dislike each other over stuff that we didn't have the problem years ago. You didn't have to fight over the race of this person. It's like, well, the Little Mermaid's white. Okay, fine. And black girls and white girls liked it, and they came together. We're going to basically create this division where it's like, well, My Little Mermaid's this, My Little Mermaid's that, and it's a narcissistic, stupid, selfish approach. I hate you, Disney. Salvador, thank you very much for a super chat. By the way, Justin Wirtz, shout out to you, man. You got me 100% right. I'm not even going to read it, but you got me. Salvador says, what are your thoughts on my Macaulay Culkin Joker I posted on the WCBS Facebook? Watch the Divers clip with him all the way to the end to the credits. I will watch the Drivers clip. I like Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin is somebody I'd love to have on the channel, and I think we can make it happen. I saw your pictures, though. He looks demonic in a good way. Very Joker-like, very scary. I would like if we, could stop trying to reinvent the Joker and go back to, that classic look. The white skin, the green hair, the chemical bleaching, all that stuff. I like my Jokers to look like that. But that's, Macaulay Culkin's a cool choice. I wouldn't be mad if Macaulay Culkin was cast as the Joker. I mean, Twilight, he sucks, whatever. And, I'm not a fan. He may be great as Batman. He may not be. But we also have Macaulay Culkin. Why not do that casting? What's the worst that could happen? We've already had Jared Leto as the Joker. What is my favorite Zemeckis film outside of Back to the Future? I mean, Back to the Future 2. No, I want to give you an honest answer. What Lies Beneath? I like that movie with Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. That's a good film. Good film. Corey Reeve says in a super chat, thank you very much. Now we have to make the same argument for Mulan. Mulan was the last Disney movie film. God, I am really reiterating a lot of points today. No, Mulan was the last animated Disney film I saw in theaters as an age-appropriate, kid. When I had a girlfriend in college, she wanted to go see the Princess and the Frog on a date, and that was a big deal to her. That's fine, whatever. Women like what they like. No need to, go on about it. But Mulan was the last one I saw. Maybe it was an age thing. I was, pushing 10. I wanted to play video games and do other shit or play baseball at that point. So Mulan was never near and dear to my heart. But I get what you're getting at, Corey. You do need to make that. There's a double standard right now. Because if it's white, you can change it. If it's any other color, you can't. Well, why don't you do a live-action version of The Princess and the Frog instead of The Little Mermaid? Or are you afraid that that's not as marketable and you really don't care about these things? You just want to cash in on an IP and look and make hollow lip service to these people. Because The Princess and the Frog was a pretty solid movie. I don't know if you guys know about this. I fucking love New Orleans. The culture, the food, the people are fun, all that stuff. Why not a live-action version of that? You can make the fireflies look cool, be down in the bayou, all that stuff. And you could, do that. You could have a food tie-in with Zatarans. You could up the tourism in New Orleans. There's just a lot of positives. You could do that. Mulan, it would be dumb to change it. And you know what? By sending this message, you acknowledge that changing Mulan would be dumb. And it's equally dumb for The Little Mermaid to do it. I'm not into it at all whatsoever. I also am not going to see Mulan because, again, I just do not care about the film. Didn't like it when it first came out, but I don't like the idea of race swapping anything. The day they do it with Spider-Man is the day I throw a fucking fit. $20 says Dion Jack, to Ariel says Kendo Slice. I will take that $20 bet and I will raise it to 40 because I would guarantee it. Let's ask him on After Hours this week, Kendo. Let's make that happen. Dr. Coffin Nails, thank you very much for your super chat. Why do I like Shaft so much as a white man? Because you're a cultured person who likes quality filmmaking, and skin color be damned. That is something that is lost in today's society. And you know the answer, dude. It's like white guys that listen to hip-hop, or black people that like country. It's really not about color and what's different. It's about you like something and people come together to like something. I don't fucking get it. I whatever social engineering is happening, it's not for the good. I wanted to keep the show light and fun and whatever, and it's going on. I don't care how long it goes on because we're hitting the points now. We're getting to the ranty part of the show. We're getting to the part where we're trying to solve entertainment problems. But everyone can always just cut down that freeform argument. It's like the social media people. I always say social media makes people dumber. It truly does. The argument's stupid. It's probably some 22-year-old college graduate with a degree in social media analytics, and they're just trying to come up with some argument for Ariel because whatever. And, that could be a dude's voice too. Believe me, I've heard dudes talk like that. But at the end of the day, it's all dumb. That's all I can say. It's dumb at the end of the day. But Dr. Coffin-Nails, I too like the film Shaft. I want to see the new one still. I'm a little behind the times. The Rock is going to play the new Rocky Balboa. I will cry. Rocky, Indiana Jones, John McClane, Rambo, should have been Han Solo, Axel Foley, Riggs and Murtaugh, Crockett and Tubbs. All these should only be played by one actor. Yes, Crockett and Tubbs were played by Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx, respectively. And yeah, there was that Alden Ehrenreich guy that played Han Solo last year in the flop of a film called Solo. But I don't care. There are certain things. It's an actor plays one role. It's their defining thing. Some people are lucky, like a Schwarzenegger. Well, Schwarzenegger. I don't think he's really just his character. I know that sounds dumb, but he's so much larger than life in life. But like Rambo, Rocky, Stallone's got 2. Han Solo, Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford has 2. Like, I love Michael J. Fox. His biggest role is Marty McFly. Then on TV, it's Alex P. Keaton type of thing. He only has done repeats twice. Obviously, his Family Ties, multiple episodes, hundreds of times, and then Back to the Future 3 times. So, no, I love The Rock, but never, ever, ever, ever would I want Rock to play Rocky Balboa. Darth Tico, thank you for the $1, and thank you for the good morning the other message, my friend. It's always good to talk to you. Party boob! Billy Ritchie says, damn, been a weird week. Disney crushing families' hopes and ice cream licking and Disneyland fighting. Jeff, I want to go back to 1998. Do I want to go back to 1998? What was I doing in 98? At this point in 1998, so it would have been the summer of 98. Okay, I was playing baseball. I didn't have a Nintendo 64. I wouldn't have it till Christmas. It was funny. You bring up going back to 98. This time I was so excited for the movie Small Soldiers. We had a PlayStation, but I don't know if we had the game yet. I had the toys. I was playing with the toys. I had the coloring books. For some reason, I would take the coloring books, color them, and then I would try to draw the pictures on the other interior flaps of the book. Always been an artistic kid. To go back to that simpler time, we had a computer. I know, society's dumb, and you say that in a joking manner, Billy. But man, I wouldn't want to go back. I wouldn't even want to go back 1 year. And I know I'm not going to get into the whole Fandom Menace is great. Thank you guys. You know this. But yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with where I keep going personally. Would I like some of that simplicity to come back? Maybe. Maybe I'd like to fight for it to come back and be, one of the voices to make it happen. It could be a lot of fun. 90s had a lot of good stuff. I will say 90s commercials were creative as shit. And if you want me to tell you a secret, sometimes when I get bored and have the free time, I sit down and I watch hour-long blocks of 90s commercials. And I go, I remember this, I don't remember that. Dion and I were hanging out at the apartment one New Year's Day, and we were just watching 90s commercials. Now, the thing is, I don't like 1990 commercials. I like 93 on commercials, especially the Nickelodeon ones, and then all commercials about 97 on, because they get weird, they get different. I'm a fan. They're fun. If you're born in 1979, you're not old at all. Oh, wait. Yeah, you were born in 79, not there. Yeah, somebody was born in 1955. So you remember the Hill Valley Thunderstorm, do you? Let's see, here we go. Darth Tico, I'm going to watch your video. I have seen that thumbnail on social media quite a bit. I haven't had a chance to watch it about the Black Little Mermaid. Maybe we'll make fun of it this week. Dion is not listening, but he's talking to Nick and the other guys in the chat. Maybe we should get Dion to perform a Little Mermaid song this week. If I see a row of ones right now, I will try to convince Dion to start singing some shit. So let's see. I'm seeing if they're listening right now. Yes, Moot wins. Wow, 2 XYs as well. Okay, so people want Dion to sing Little Mermaid songs. Part of Your World or whatever. So, as a kid, I did enjoy the song Under the Sea because we had this Disney CD from McDonald's. I know this sounds really terrible, but I do miss the simpler days of, like, McDonald's. You eat the shitty fast food, you get a Disney product, you go home, you're happy. Like, that's the Disney I liked. Not Disney's trying to take over the world and buy up all the properties and make them bad. You know, Disney was Disney, Star Wars was Star Wars. You know, Little Mermaid was Little Mermaid. And I think Kendo's asking, Kendo just messaged Dion, how familiar are you with the Little Mermaid? This is going to be a hell of a show this week. It was funny. I talked to the guys yesterday, and we're like, man, we missed doing channel work. We missed this. We missed that. Yesterday was whatever. Today is like the exact opposite. Like, today is such a great time. I'm pumped. Oh, man. Press F for the clock tower. Oh, save the clock tower. Dion's response to the Little Mermaid question. Relatively familiar. Everyone loves Kiss the Girl. Oh, Dion, if you only knew what you're getting yourself into, my friend. If you only fucking knew. Kendo responds with, good, because you're performing Thursday night. Maybe we'll get Dion to turn the camera on and, I should try to work it out. I'm like, Dion, I will buy you a red wig. Can you please just do that on camera? That'd be... I gotta get him to do it. Oh. Alright. I want that to happen. Dion, you're my best friend. Please do it. Damn, Sinbad, that's cold-blooded. That is cold-blooded. No, but, you know, you have to make fun of the Little Mermaid situation. Because if you take all this outrage culture nonsense seriously, you will melt. You will just fall apart at how stupid things are. My approach is to just sit back and watch it fall apart and laugh. Have a good time with you guys, you know? Remember the cool kids that sat on the back of the bus or in the back of class and made fun of the teacher sometimes? Well, we're going to be those dicks. Except, because normally, you know, you respect your teacher, you do whatever, you're trying to learn. At least me, I wanted to get through school and get good grades and move on in life. But sometimes you're just feeling like you're sassy. Well, we're going to make fun of all these freeform TV-style people. We're going to sit in the back of the class. We're going to poke holes in their theories, their arguments, make fun of them. Make them feel dumb. Dion needs to do Under the Sea with the Calypso beat. I agree. That song doesn't suck. That's what I was saying. I had that CD from McDonald's, and that would come on, and I'd be like, I kind of like this song. You know what song I didn't like as a kid was You Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story. I still don't like it. I'm not a Randy Newman guy. Cesaria Japan Super Chat says, we should get Dion a mermaid cosplay for Horror Hound. We do buy him a costume every time. Oh, we should. I wish Horror Hound was like this weekend. You know what, folks? We're going to make it happen. I still think they should have cast Mark Henry as Mulan. I do, too. I love that thing. By the way, this is still frozen here. Please respond. Because I would love to be able to talk. Show stuff. You got a friend of me. Yeah, bro, Paulo Creed. Somebody should make Dion a giant crab suit. That'd be fun. And a giant fork to go with it. You ever seen the picture of the crab with the butter knife? You should do that. Oh, that's some good coffee. So let's see how Dion's responding to performing the song. He hasn't seen the message yet. Damn it. I wanted to give an update. Kendo, I know you're still listening out there. Ariel isn't old and fat enough for Dion's tastes. You're not wrong. If Elon Musk's mom played Ariel, I think Dion would die. Just die. He would be so excited. Press 1 for Dion the Mermaid at Horror Hounds weekend in September. Yeah, if I get let's see, there's 353 people watching. If I get 21s right now, I will guarantee buy the costume. Kendo, hold me to it. Okay, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I only see 6, 7. A lot more ones. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Come on, a few more. A few more. There we go. We've passed 20. You guys can keep pressing 1 in the chat. I appreciate it. It's happening. Kendo, remind me to buy him that suit. God, everyone's pressing 1. Crispy in spirit really wants it. You know, it's funny. I saw a chat pop up for a second about the Jungle Book. They were pretty accurate to the Jungle Book. I wonder why. Now, that was Jon Favreau, correct? I feel like certain Disney films, certain films in general, but let's just say Disney, they're made to tell a story, and then certain ones are made to be a product, and then certain ones are made to push an idea or ideal. And it's the ones that have no existence. It's just a soulless reason for what they are. Those are the ones that are met with the most resistance. Like Dumbo just looked dumb. No, that wasn't meant to be a funny joke. I just, by the way, Degaz Rune, thank you very much for your $1 super chat. You're appreciated. All right, Kendo, thanks for reminding me now. Remind me closer to the date. We'll get Deanna. I'd love to start doing a screen share of the mermaid costumes. Maybe we can make that happen. Agent Jeremy, hell yeah. I love that. I approve that message. Oh, it's because the Jungle Book was already minorities. Well, wherever Mowgli lived, was he a minority? No. It's just, you know. I love how in America, it's like, oh, they're minority characters. It's like, well, this also doesn't take place in America, so they're not. No. There are a lot of Panthers. Panthers aren't the minority. Dumbo was too damn sad. No one wants to get depressed watching a big-eared elephant again. I remember Dumbo's... Doesn't Dumbo's mom die, or is that Bambi's mom? I remember watching Bambi as a kid and just didn't like it. I don't like movies about animals, except The Lion King. I like real animals. I don't want to harm them, but I don't go to the zoo. I don't own any. That's just not for me. So stories about animals just don't really do it. You know, Abu, the monkey, is different in Aladdin. And like I said, The Lion King is the exception to the rule because I love that movie. But I still won't see the new remake, which I refuse to call live action. Yeah, Bambi's mom died. They both. The one lived. Panthers. What? Yeah, Dumbo was so old that nobody really remembers Dumbo. I have it on tape somewhere. Was that the Casey Jr. song? No, wait. That's just another Disney thing. We had a Disney tape that would just play Disney songs. And there was one called Casey Jr.'s Coming Down the Track or something. It was a train. Because trains go down tracks. That's really all I remember. I don't know. All I know. So we got a joke from our friend Salvador about the show Chernobyl Diaries. I'm going to read it to you guys. An American spy in the 1980s has trained for 10 years to infiltrate the Russians. He's learned Russian, how to dress, and every single cultural minutia to blend in perfectly. He's moved to Russia. He's been walking down the street, and every single person says to him, "Good morning, Comrade American." "Hello, Comrade American." And he's so flummoxed he doesn't understand. After a couple of weeks of this, he pulls off a kid on the side and tells the kid, "I spent 10 years learning everything about Russia and your culture. How the fuck do you know I'm an American?" The kid replies, "But Comrade American, you're black." That reminds me of Lethal Weapon 2 so much. You're black. I guess we, common sense in some of these stories doesn't make sense. We're gonna teach these people a lesson. Racists. Are ya? So, for anyone asking about The Walking Dead, the comic ended abruptly at issue 193 with no announcements. They even made fake cover art to let people think that the book was going to continue on, and then poof, they got rid of it. So I wanted to keep that as the title today because that's an interesting thing. I mean, name another, all the comics I read, sadly, either are miniseries, which we know they were only going to be whatever, or they're still going on. Like, there's still Spider-Man books being printed to this day. Sometimes I think they should cancel them. The newest issue, or when I read it 2 weeks ago, was not very good. So, what are we INGing? I can't find it. Are we wanting? Oh, we're wanting for Dion to wear a mermaid cosplay suit. It's got to happen now. Isn't The Walking Dead still Image's bestseller? Probably, Ian. But it's probably more of a creativity thing than we're going to keep it going thing. Because, Image is creator-owned. It's a different type of medium. Sometimes stories need to end. And I respect Robert Kirkman for understanding when it's time to end the story. George Lucas knew when it was time to end the story of Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. Some people say it should have ended Return of the Jedi. I see your point. But at least the prequels ended well. And then you had the Clone Wars, and you kept Star Wars alive in other ways. Which, Disney, I hate you so much. Yeah. Yes, the comic industry today, total incompetence. And the thing is, this is what pisses me off about all bad entertainment. It's a choice. They know this shit won't work. It's not like they gambled on something and it failed, and then they're going to scramble to fix it. It's they make these bad decisions consistently, constantly, if you will. And then they get mad when people don't like them, and they double down. If it would be different if these, it's like, oh, we're going to try something new and make Captain Marvel the lead of Marvel. And people didn't like it, so they just jump back to Spider-Man. No, they're going to keep forcing it down your damn throat. It's not working. I'm getting reports in from parts of the country. Captain Marvel toys are clogging shelves. I'm going to go out into the field again and film some stuff. I actually gone out to film some stuff. I got a big video coming. I got to look at all the research and see if I can get it out this week, or should I just put it out on Monday? Because it's very important. I'll look at it. It needs to be said. It needs to be made. But it also needs the right time, and it needs all of you guys to help spread the word. Because, this isn't a topical thing that anyone else can make. It's some information I have that not a lot of people do. Salvador, thank you very much for your super chat. I finally got one. Minority reporting. Every time a new Disney movie comes out, they report on all the minorities. They're included in representation. Yes! You actually got the best one. I thought Schindler's Listing was funny. Minority reporting is the win. And I'm taking a screenshot of that because I'm doing it on my phone. You win my favorite ING title. Kendo, pay attention to that. We're going to bring back the ING game. And if you can beat Minority reporting, good for you, but you can't. Sal wins. Yes, the fans kept Star Wars alive. I agree with that, Ryan. Rest in peace, Star Wars, 1977 to 2013. I tried to dress as Ryan Johnson last October. I got my ass kicked by a Wookiee. Well, Sinbad, you deserved it. If you tried to dress up as a... Well, to be fair, folks, Ryan Johnson is the cheapest Halloween costume because you can wear just your regular street clothes and then put a pumpkin on your head, and you're good to go. Equally round, equally ugly. Maybe equally orange, depending on what time of the year it is. Could you imagine if Ryan Johnson spray tanned? How unattractive that would be. I mean, it's very unattractive just to look at him in general. But a spray tanned Ryan Johnson. Ooh. Ew. Ew, I just had a gross visual. I'm not going to talk about that on air. I don't want to get my channel removed. Yeah, the stalker face. Minority reporting was great. So, shout out to our mod, Salvador. He got the best one. I don't listen to the haters on Star Wars The Old Republic. Oh, I'm not listening to any of the haters. I gotta find time to get into it. You guys know that story. One day, I will be, watching it. Or reading it, or whatever I gotta do. Just today is not that day. Ugh. In a perfect world, Disney would have made the Thrawn trilogy. In an even more perfect world, George Lucas would have made it in 1999 with the actors when they still looked really good. Instead of like, oh, hey, here's Carrie Fisher. We're going to look at her, as old as she is now. Just too late. Ryan Johnson with a spray tan is the equivalent of an NBA basketball. Well, the Jacobite, you're right. Okay, so you guys know how they have those Harlem Globetrotter commercials? Where it plays that song. I'd love for somebody to make one of those commercials where you just superimpose Ryan Johnson's face on the basketball while that song plays. I would die laughing. Our one friend, what's his name? Oh, God. Big fan of the Fandom Menace, big friend. Did the one where Porkins was crashing into the plane about Kathleen Kennedy, the X-Wing. Oh, man, that was good. I haven't seen, by the way, I have not seen the Star Wars Theory Episode 9 video. I'll check it out, because I need to finish our Star Wars Trilogy Bullshit Edition video. Don't worry, I have not forgotten about that. That's going to be a thing I do soon. I just, You got sidetracked, Jeff, with a bunch of other stuff. It was worth my time, but I got sidetracked still. So all I gotta say is, we've had a good morning. I could end the stream. if I could, but it's all frozen, so I'm not. I'm just going to keep going on until it unfreezes itself, maybe. All I know is, ask me some questions, folks. Oh, that wouldn't work, Jeff. The Globetrotters use red, white, and blue basketballs, not orange. Well, Kendo, thank you for breaking my spirit this morning. Because you couldn't be on the show, you gotta ruin my day. Thanks. Yeah, Ryan Johnson's not patriotic. He doesn't deserve it. Bjorn says, Forrest Gumping. You don't want to know. Yeah, I don't want to know. Does that involve Jen A? The Globetrotter song is Sweet Georgia Brown. Well, there we go. Now we have the title of it. I can just imagine Ryan Johnson's head bobbing around to it. Get the guy that makes the RKO videos to make that. I should. You know, the Selena Scene guy is actually a fan of the channel. I was blown away because somebody tagged us in something, and the Selena Scene guy has, like, 600,000 followers and all this shit. And I'm like, cool. And he goes, I love your stuff. I'm like, I love your stuff too. It was just kind of cool to have, like, somebody with that big of a following tell me they enjoyed our stuff. There's a couple of YouTubers that watch our stuff. There's a guy named Larry Bundy Jr. who has like 1 million subscribers. He will comment on our videos quite a bit. We had a little run-in with Angry Joe once. Some big names here on the platform, and that's pretty awesome that we have that reach. My favorite color is blue. If you've met me, you'll notice I wear a lot of blue. Unless you're Black Angus Reviews. I didn't wear blue that day because I didn't have any more clean clothes for my trip. My thoughts on Terminator Dark Fate. To be honest, I'm probably not going to watch it. I like Terminator 1 a lot. I love T2, but the story ends there for me. I saw OBGYN, didn't like it. Salvation, haven't seen all of it, but not really a fan. It's too convoluted. Like Aliens, an Alien, realistically, just the story's good with the first two, and that's it. That's why there's big gaps between sequels and stuff, because the story was over. It's like studios trying to just mine it for more money, and I didn't like that. The Sorcerer's Sausage. Ooh, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Sausage? What about Harry Sausage and the Sorcerer's Sausage? Ugh. Ugh. Not really my my cup of tea right there. I'm a coffee guy myself. Yes, Salvador, that is why Leonardo is my favorite Ninja Turtle, because he's blue, and the swords are neat. But I, as an adult, if I ever go back and watch Ninja Turtle shit, I like them all. Just as a kid, I just identified with blue. I think that's maybe why I like Cyclops so much from the X-Men, because his costume's mostly blue, and I liked the Blue Ranger, and Spider-Man's mostly blue. It could just be a psychological color thing. Back to the Future's movie box is blue, Beverly Hills Cops is blue. Maybe it's just, if you put something in a blue box, I'm gonna like it. Oh no, The Rise of Skywalker is predominantly blue. I don't think I'm going to like it. Harry Butter and the Sorcerer's Sausage. Ew, that sounds like the grossest movie ever made. A really good Terminator fan film would not be hard to pull off. Look at how Terminator 1 was achieved. Now, obviously, you wouldn't have the funding to do the endoskeleton and all the effects of cutting it off the skin and all that shit. But what you could do is you could do a very convincing Kyle Reese-style story. I've seen a lot of good fan film, like that Spider-Man Cake Day that popped up the other week. That was pretty damn good. Mega Jetty 1, thank you very much for super chat. Join my Terminator 2 Director's Cut watch party at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that today? Because I wish I could, man, but I got to get to the gym. I have to be somewhere at 4 o'clock so I can be home by tonight for the High Council. Mega Jetty 1, if you want me to join one of your watch parties, just shoot me an email and give me some heads up. Because I need, right now it's starting to pick up again, real busy with channel work and conventions and all this stuff. And I know this sounds crazy to say to you guys, but we're already preparing for next Star Wars Celebration and next year, because, our audience keeps growing. You guys want more of us. We want to give you more, and we want to go places and do things, but it just takes us time to prepare. Scheduling, you got to figure out what you cannot do for these many weeks, preparations for, backlog videos. So Mega Jetty 1, all you got to do is just shoot me a message and give me a couple weeks. That's why I showed up on the Black Angus stream and Mary Mayhem and stuff like that, because I wanted to congratulate them for putting in the hard work to getting to 1,000 subscribers and all that stuff. And I like watch parties. I'm always willing to help you guys out. I just need more time. But you people and your sausages, your sausage talk. The Little Sausage starring Dion. Oh man, I'm laughing at my own jokes of Sinbad the Pirate. Yeah, I too like the grittiness of the original Terminator, and I love the music. That might be my favorite part of that film, the synthy nature. Because I love the epic, grandiose scale of T2. It's one of the best movies ever made. But when it comes to music, I prefer that one. It's kind of scary at times. I would hope that Palpatine and Rey are not related. That would be dumb. There are a lot of dumb things. It's like, what if this person's related to that person? Is Snoke is this? It's just like, please just get over with the story. No one's related. No one cared. It's over. It's done with. Go home. The story's over. They may have leaked her real parents. Now, I have a question for you guys. Do you care about her parents? Because does it feel like her parents are an integral part of the story? Or Rian Johnson's mishandling of you're nobodies, a whole different point of view thing? Like, I swear to God, if they say your parents were nobodies from a certain point of view, I'm going to scream in the theater. That's another thing you ripped off from Return of the Jedi. Like, I can understand how Back to the Future does the parallel of, like, the Hill Valley encounter. You know, first Marty does it on the skateboard, then he does it on the hoverboard, then he does it on foot type of thing. But, because it's the joke, history repeats itself. But with Star Wars, it's like poetry, it rhymes. No, if I'm being honest, it's like you just are ripping off elements from the last film of the trilogy. This is stupid. Please stop. God damn it, Kendo. Star Wars theory has merit. Starkiller ripoff. I'll have to watch. I haven't done a lot of YouTube for fun. I need to catch up on Company Man. That's one of my favorites. I gotta also catch up on what's the other one I watched? The theme park guy, Kevin Perger. Defunct Land. I like that guy. Logan Michael, Anti-Funko Pops. Thank you for your super chat. Says Pop Yay. Yeah. I don't own any more, man. I'm not a fan. Thank you for joining us, Chase from the Earth, or Chase from Earth. I appreciate you spending your morning with us, and have a good day at work. The new game will probably be better than the new movie. I'm not happy, though, that it's been censored, which kind of bothers me. But, you know, Clone Wars was canceled because it was too violent, and now we're getting a new, watered-down Clone Wars. Can Disney shit the bed on the Clone Wars? We'll find out. It was such a great show. Both versions of Clone Wars was fantastic. You had 03, you had 08, which never should have ended. It kept Star Wars alive. It's its own identity. To me, the Clone Wars is what legitimized the prequel trilogy. It made it good. You know, episode 1's episode 2 shit, episode 3's pretty damn good. But that Clone Wars show really legitimized it, made it part of, it basically secured its place in Star Wars history because so many kids grew up watching it. You had the merchandise, you had this, you had all the stuff to go with it. It was a multimedia event. You didn't need a movie, even though you had a Clone Wars movie technically. And it was just a damn good show. That's all I can say. Darth Vader says, "Morning, Jeff. What did you think of my ING movies over Patreon?" I read them. Okay, so the way it works, if you ever message us on Patreon, I get an email. I know I read them for sure, because remember, I gave you a shout out yesterday about your stuff. Because the story of your mom and the Joker costume and all that stuff. So I read your message through my phone, and then I don't have the Patreon app, which I need to get, and I chuckled at your stuff. So remind me, and I will read through those on Thursday to the other guys, and we'll discuss them on After Hours just for you. So if you want to shoot me a message, after we go off the air or right before we go off the air, I will gladly read those and tell you my thoughts and go into detail. By the way, if you're a patron of folks, you can ask us questions for After Hours. Get involved. So, just telling you. Jedi Fallen Order director is full on SJW. Latest news about aliens in Star Wars game is final straw that has killed the franchise. I haven't heard that. Huh. I haven't heard that at all. Somebody told me it was skipping. At first I thought the chat was skipping or my audio was skipping, and then I'm reading it. So, old dad, thank you for joining us this morning. The immortal line from episode 2 is, "I don't like sand." What is the worst Star Wars line, folks? Let me know and replace it with a sausage word. That could be fun. You know what's funny is I read a meme, and the sausage game has kind of become like one of our staples. Last year it was moist. This year it's sausage. I told the guys we have a new game we're going to play only on the podcast, maybe. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kendo knows what it is. We're really pumped to share it on Thursday night. Just watch. Trust me. Make Rey's parents just two random Jedi who put Rey on the planet because Vader was chasing them, and that would explain why Rey is so powerful. No. Sorry, Thunder Robots, that would not work because Rey is 20 years old? Darth Vader's been dead for 30, and the Great Jedi Purge had ended before Episode 4, which would have been 38 years beforehand. So if Rey was... Rey would have to be a lot older, because Vader would have been dead probably a decade before her parents were, or before she was born. See, they've written themselves into a hole with Rey. They should have either had a plan, or they should have just stuck to how stupid Rian Johnson's bullshit is and dealt with it. Hashtag live with it. Micah D2, thank you very much. I have a bad sausage about this. It's so funny. I love it. It's not about killing what we hate, but saving our sausage. The worst Star Wars line. No! Both times. Yeah, that ruins Return of the Jedi for me when Vader's like, no, and he picks up the Emperor and throws him. I know we make certain points over and over again, but there's a beauty to when Vader redeems himself in Return of the Jedi, like a very noble nature. Very classic element of storytelling that we don't get in film anymore, by choice. And Darth Vader's redemption is really, really epic, and I just absolutely love it. But the 2011 cut sucks. That's why it would not gain me too many brownie points, but I like the 97 cut of Return of the Jedi. At least the second half. Because I prefer the song, the celebration song, over Yub Nub. That's just me. Logan Michael Anti-Funko Pop. Now, thank you for your super chat. Now this is sausage racing. Yeah, it kinda is. It kinda is sausage racing. Don't try it, Anakin. I have the high sausage. I love sausage. I know. There's always a bigger sausage. I want to be a sausage like my father before me. All this damn sausage talk. I haven't had breakfast yet. I'm on this, I'm on this fasting thing for this wedding. I did one day 100% successful. Day 2 will be easy. Because I'm getting a tailor-made suit for this wedding, so I'm going to look super cool. And then I'll take pictures of me crunched in cars in that tailor-made suit. Jeremy has a Z car, I'll have my tailor-made suit. You guys can send me messages where I should pop up in my suits. Like, Jeff, go to a McDonald's. Okay. Go to a church. Okay. Go to somewhere else. Okay. You can go anywhere in a good-looking suit, and nobody will tell you to leave. You're overdressed at some places, but you can never be underdressed in a suit. Micah D2, thank you very much, says, you scruffy-looking sausage herder. Who's scruffy-looking? God, now I want to watch Empire Strikes Back. If I had all the time to watch the movies I want to watch, I think I'd watch Fletch and Beverly Hills Cop and Back to the Future probably every day. But I don't have the time. I don't. Double Your Father was killed by a former pupil called Darth Sausage. Rise, Darth Sausage. Go to Galaxy's Edge. That's what I'll talk about, Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey. Thank you. So, Galaxy's Edge, we're hearing rumors that, well, not rumors, but we're getting reports in that Galaxy's Edge is kind of a ghost town at times. That people aren't going to the park, the ride times are less than expected, all of these things. I've heard these. I've always been a firm believer that Disney Star Wars just isn't appealing to the Star Wars money-spending audience, and that Disney has priced itself out of accessibility for people. But then I've also heard things about how Disneyland is much different than Disney World, and once it opens in Disney World, it'll make money, or when the season changes. But I thought this was the season for theme parks. Kings Island is open every day till 11 type of thing. I thought Disney was the same the same way. I don't know. I'm not a Californian. I've never lived there. I don't want to live there. It would take something really, really big to get me to live in California. You know, like a movie contract or the Party Boob album, and we have to collaborate with Lady Gaga all the time. Fine, we can make it happen. I'll do it for Gaga. But I don't like the state that much. If you live there, I still like you, though. But I don't really understand how the Disney attendance works. But we keep hearing reports constantly that people aren't going. Now, I can't go to Disney and film because there's no reason to. But you guys can read those reports and see into it. And now I've heard rumors of layoffs and stuff like that. And it just, you know, like Lando said, this deal just keeps getting worse all the time. It really does. I think because Disney, I'm talking to you directly because you can hear me, Walt. I think because you banked on the new Star Wars movies. You banked on this new wave of Star Wars fandom. That you forgot to cash in on the nostalgia in the right part. You know, ripping off A New Hope was dumb. It worked. It made you that money. Fine. But the fact that the portion of your audience that has disposable income, if you would have offered them a Death Star, if you would have offered them a Mos Eisley Cantina, if you would have offered them classic Star Wars stuff, these grown men that'll drop $10,000 on a vintage Kenner figure will come out to meet Darth Vader and Stormtroopers and this and that and, like, live through it. Like, you know what a fun game? Stormtrooper laser tag. You're going to win because Stormtroopers can't hit anything. But you're also going to have a good time because you can relive the escape of the Death Star. You know, instead of having you piloting the Millennium Falcon on some stupid fictional run, escape the Death Star, you know? Have somebody pilot the ship like Chewie and Leia. Have Han and Luke fire the guns and have somebody else trying to, you know, the lateral controls have been destroyed, have somebody try to repair that. There you go. Play the fucking theme song that plays, you know, the Escape from the Death Star music. I'm not going to sing it for copyright reasons. I'm getting excited pitching my own concept to you for a Disney Star Wars theme park. You know, there are all sorts of other things you could have done. Instead of charging $70 for drinks and, you know, trying, we're branding it our way. Look, at your way doesn't mean shit, Disney. You bought it because it had value. You sucked value out of it by trying to put your own imprint on it. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It will not work. My video coming up has more proof of that. A lot more proof. Statistics, facts, figures, data. All there. Black and white. Clear as crystal. You stole fizzy lifting drink. I'm reading the next super chat. Logan Michael Anti-Funko Pop says, NECA's versus Jason figure is now available on eBay. So now, Logan Michael, is it the Freddy Krueger that's getting pulled? Or are they going to go through and release the figures because the licensing agreement's going through, or what? I've been so removed from what's coming out of Toy Fair and the next line of toys. But I'm telling you this, guys, when it comes to Comic-Con, I will be covering some Comic-Con stuff. I didn't get the invite to go. I'm not Jeremy coming at you with another video, but I will report upon it. Because I want to go to Comic-Con one year in the future. If anyone knows how to help me get press passes or whatever I need to do, whatever steps I need to take, please let me know. I will take those steps. I would like to go. It's on my bucket list of things to do. Been to WrestleMania, you know, done Star Wars Celebration. I want to do Comic-Con and do a lot of other things. So, folks, if you have that information, worldclassbs@mail.com. Mazamonti says, Jeff, maybe she's the chosen one to bring balance. But Anakin was the chosen one. He was meant to bring balance to the Force, not destroy it. Rey was meant to bring money to the Star Wars franchise, not bankrupt it. And to be fair, it hasn't been bankrupt. But law of diminishing returns. I just love how everyone's like, The Last Jedi was such a huge hit. Yeah, but it made $750 million less. The Avengers drop-off was $100 million. It goes Avengers 1.5, Age of Ultron 1.4, Infinity War 2, and Infinity War, or Endgame 2 point whatever. Like, come on, man. Avengers has the best curve. It's like high, down slightly, super high, almost double. Like, come on. Every movie franchise should strive for Avengers level. Franchise fatigue, this, that, and the other. And your movies are just shit. Sorry. Micah D2 says, No, Luke, I am your sausage. Only a sausage of you, even though I'm mixing lines. Doesn't matter if I mix lines. We're putting the word sausage in Star Wars. So, you know. Yeah, I could never imagine that Star Wars would sink so low as well. I mean, if you would have met me 10 years ago, so what would I have been doing? Oh, okay, I would have just come back from my favorite year of college. Still like the Clone Wars, still was into this shit. I was hunting down figures. The next year, I was really obsessed with it. I was 21, and Dustin and I were on the hunt for Boba Fett and X-Wings and Millennium Falcons. It was just an exciting time. You felt that spark of childhood come back. Yeah, even as an adult. I think I was trying harder to be an adult in my early 20s than I am in my early 30s. Like, I was talking to somebody, and she was saying to me how, my life's an adventure, this and that. And I said, I kind of wish I was the man I am now that I was 10 years ago. But, it is about the journey. But I've always been, focused on, like, a goal or an idea or something I want to achieve and have. And it's funny, the more relaxed I have become about achieving said things, I've achieved them quicker and easier and more happily. If I was so laser focused on, like, every minute channel, I wouldn't have gone away for a week and had a lot of fun. Same with Star Wars Celebration. If I was so focused on only filming stuff at Celebration, I wouldn't have met all you guys and built friendships and relationships and stuff like that. Just my Jeff moment of truth. You gotta enjoy shit. You gotta enjoy life. You gotta not always be on this path to whatever. I know everyone's life is different, but for me personally, I found out that sometimes taking the slower approach gets you a much richer result. So, it's funny, for people that want to say we're the hate mongers of the Toxic Brood, we're this angry channel, I'm at peace with a lot of stuff. A very calm guy, as you can tell. That's why we have the audience on Good Morning Pop Culture. You guys don't want me screaming in the microphone, talking about, J. Jonah Jameson here and all this other shit. Maybe you do, and sometimes I get mad, especially with Ariel bullshit, the double standard, the hypocrisy. But sometimes it's the quieter, more peaceful moments that people need, because everything else is just a mess of sound. Next year you guys will need us a lot, and we'll be here for you. Don't worry. Mazamante says, train yourself to let go of every sausage you fear to lose. I don't fear... Oh, there's only one sausage I fear to lose, and there is no scenario where losing it is okay. I'd rather be gone than lose that. I don't know if Endgame beat Avatar yet. I like it more than Avatar, but I prefer Infinity War. I wish Infinity War would have been the highest grossing film of all time. Oh, well, it's a Disney flick. I don't want them to make that much money. I honestly do not take too much pride and be like, oh, the Avengers beat Avatar. I didn't like Avatar because, it wasn't my cup of tea. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop saying my cup of tea. I drink coffee. I made the joke, or made the analogy 10 times. 9 times. Who else was absent from school? 9 times. First one to tell me gets a shout out. All right, 9 times. Waiting. And if you're going to watch the new Avatar movies, that's awesome. To me, Avatar was sold on the straight up the visuals. But, we've gone through the 3D renaissance. It's over. There we go. The first person to get it was Girthy Gamer SD. So shout out to Girthy Gamer SD. But everyone else is chiming in with Ferris Bueller. Boom. Love it. I was very happy with the kid, Steve Harrington from Stranger Things, playing Ferris Bueller in the pizza commercial. There's something I like about that guy. He's obviously a dweeb, but he's got some charisma about him. I would like to see him in like another period piece comedy. I wouldn't mind the idea of them making like an 80s comedy now. Like, just like a comedy set in the 80s. And you have with the same sensibilities and the same, humor and TNA factor and all that stuff with him. I think he's pretty good at what he does. He's probably one of the brightest spots of Stranger Things. None of the kids suck at acting. And I really like the one bad guy, Billy. He's kind of a dick. But he, I think he's a pretty solid actor. He was in the Power Ranger movie, which really kind of blew my mind. Mega Jetty 1, you find my email by raising the bat signal, and it'll appear. No, it's worldclassbs@mail.com. And yes, it is mail.com. There's no Gmail or anything. It's just mail.com. Salvador posted that in the chat. He, thank you very much. Kuna chuta sausage. Yes, sausage. Just as a matter of fact, I was just about to see your boss. Tell Sausage I have his money. Or tell Job I have his sausage. It's too late. We could do a riff track sausage edition of a movie. Kendo, let's remind me. Micah D2, thank you very much. The kid was on Weezer's 80 remake Take On Me video. Oh, he was. I didn't realize that Weezer remade Take On Me. I obviously know the Africa one, because Weezer's my favorite band. I've seen them in concert a few times, too. That's a few. I've enjoyed it. I know they did Everybody Wants to Rule the World with Tears for Fears this year on Jimmy Kimmel, which was awesome, because it's my favorite band performing my favorite song with another band I really like. And now they did Take On Me, so I have to check that out. Because Take On Me is the best music video of all time. You know what? Let me know in the chat what you think the best music video is. And if you're too young for music videos, there was a time where you would turn on a channel called MTV or VH1, or if you're in Canada, the other one. Was it Real Music or Now Music or whatever? And they would play music videos on repeat, and you would just sit there and watch the videos, and then the song would end, and then another one would come on, and then they'd play a commercial for a couple minutes. You'd get a VJ, and every hour on the hour, Kurt Loder would come in and say some shit, and then they go back to music videos. But I need to check that out. I stand by Take On Me is better than Thriller. People say, oh, Thriller's got this and that. Take On Me is just as innovative. I'm blown away by it every time. Thriller still looks great, but Thriller is just so long. After a while, it wears itself out. Take On Me, nothing's ever been like Take On Me. Much music. Okay, that's what it is. Let's see, we got Phil Arconis saying, Thriller, Girls on Film Uncensored. I've never seen the Girls on Film Uncensored video. I do like Duran Duran, and I like the ladies they choose for their videos. Oh, they came out with a whole cover album called the Teal Album. Let me see if that's on Google Play Music, because if that's the case, I know what I'm doing when I get off of here. Oh, here it is. Shit, it's on Google Play Music. Africa, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Sweet Dreams, Take On Me, Happy Together, Paranoid, Mr. Blue Sky, No Scrubs, Billie Jean, and Stand By Me. Well, that album has just been added to my library, and Rivers Cuomo is dressed like Don Johnson from Miami Vice, as is the drummer, as is the other guy, and the other guy's dressed like Magnum P.I. Yeah, I like Weezer a lot. Thanks for letting me know. I completely missed this album. I love Weezer so much that I don't even pay attention to what they do. But like I said, I know I'm spending my day. Yeah, Weezer did do No Scrubs. Holy shit. Yeah, they did that cover. I'm going to check them out. Money for Nothing by Dire Straits is a great music video as well. Have you seen the Weird Al parody from UHF? That's a good one as well. I love Weird Al. They actually started selling that Weird Al shirt from Stranger Things again. So, Micah D2 says, glad I could help. Make sure you see the video. First off, Micah D2, thank you for your super chat. And yes, you did help. You made my day. The show was great. This show is great. But now I know I'm going to listen to the album and watch their videos. Might try to have it. I'll have the video watched by Thursday night at the latest. And you guys can ask me about it there. Yep, Beverly Hillbillies. Phil Arconis knows it. Phil Arconis knows it. The Weird Al Jedi song's pretty good. I kind of prefer that to the real song. I know, sacrilege. American Pie is a great classic song. My mom likes it. Me, I'm just, I guess, ambivalent towards it. It's okay. Weird Al is the most underappreciated artist of the 1980s. I appreciate him. He's very talented. Parody is very hard to pull off. Believe me, I know. But I enjoy Weird Al. I think he's great at what he did. Still is. I don't know what he's doing these days. I think the last Weird Al song I really got into was White and Nerdy. But it's still fun. The Saga Begins. That's the name of the song. There we go. Smooth Criminal is better than Take On Me in terms of video. The Smooth Criminal video kicks ass. I might actually prefer the song Smooth Criminal to the song Take On Me. Yeah, it's got... Isn't Joe Pesci in it, too? Isn't he the bad guy? Or is that the Michael Jackson Moonwalker movie? Well, it's all the same. That lean dance Michael Jackson does is pretty damn cool. It was weird. So I posted that poll on Twitter about Michael Jackson and got 3,000 responses. I've never had that kind of response on Twitter before. Blew me away. And we're going to talk more about it on the podcast this week. That's one of the things we're going to do, our weekly poll on the channel to get you guys more invested with us in social media. And for some reason, I brought it up at my mom's birthday party about Michael Jackson. Like, people in my family that I had no clue liked Michael Jackson. Like, oh, Michael Jackson's my favorite. And we had this long Michael Jackson discussion. Smooth Criminal came up a couple times. It's a great song. I used to love the Alien Ant Farm version when I was younger. Yeah, Salvador, that shirt Dustin was wearing, Weird Al's selling it now. I saw a post on Facebook yesterday, and I was like, I'm not going to get one, but kind of like it. I think it was the first time available since the 1980s. And yeah, 1999 memories of episode 1 are fond of me as well. We were talking about 98 earlier. 99 is like a very, I don't know, I just feel like everything was like balanced right, you know? There's something really good and pure and safe about 1999. We can never go back. It was 20 years ago, but it's fun to look back. Rhino4563 sent in a big super chat. Thank you very much, sir. He says, Jeff, are you old enough to remember the Jukebox channel? You could order a video with your phone. Parents would get so pissed when the phone bill came. I am not. I'm 30. So if that was a thing in the 80s or maybe in the early 90s, I was just too young for it. I think the earliest time in my life that I can remember is about 92. Because I remember, maybe it's just early 93, but I distinctly remember watching X-Men at night. And then I remember watching the show regularly. And then Power Rangers. That's the first time where I can... Well, I can also remember being into Thomas the Tank Engine. So I can remember about 27 years ago. That's as far back as I can remember. With regularity. That's why I like you. You're a regular guy. I want to keep you regular, Harry. But I can imagine the phone bills getting jacked up. I just remember the only thing I ever did with a phone was like we had those prepaid cell phones, and I accidentally went through a card once really quickly because I bought a couple of ringtones. Now that makes me feel old. Oh, I bought ringtones. Holy shit. Buying a ringtone was a big deal. Now it's just like I'm going to download whatever I want and have the real version. No more of that Jamster Crazy Frog Axel F. You know what version of Axel F I want? I want the version from Beverly Hills Cop 2 when he walks into the police station. And that's actually what I have on my phone. And if you're one of those people that's nerdy enough to understand that reference, well, you deserve a hug. Maybe not from me, but from somebody. All right, Mega Jetty 1. Folks, Mega Jetty 1's going to have that Terminator 2 watch party today at 2 p.m. So if you're looking for somebody to hang out with and you want to talk about T2, well, you know, Mega Jetty 1. I didn't understand Jar Jar. I don't think I ever want to. No, but Rhino4563, what's the highest you ever... if anyone in the chat, this is mainly to Rhino, but if you're old enough to remember this, did you ever do anything to ring up your parents' phone bill a lot? I'd like to hear how high the bill was. Maybe Dr. Coffin Nails did it to himself. Logan Michael Anti-Funko Pop says, Midsummer was awful. Worst movie of the year. You know, Logan Michael, you're not the only person to tell me that. Salvador contacted me last week when I was out of town. He's like, I'm getting ready to go see Midsummer. I'll let you know what's up. And so I was like, all right, tell me. And he did not like it at all. I've heard 2 reviews from 2 fans, 2 friends of the channel, and they've both been very negative. I heard it was very raw and blunt about, you know, suicide and stuff like that. But I also just heard it's not a good film. So I'm not going to watch it. Sorry, independent production. I feel like an idiot. I threw my money at Spider-Man, but I did enjoy it. No, I've never called a 1-900... Oh, no, I did call a 1-900 number once on the channel as a joke. There's an episode of the podcast where you hear us call a sex line for a good laugh. El Berzadente, there you are. 1999, I remember it. All the people who knew nothing about computers were losing their minds over Y2K. The end of the world! Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. That sounds like a good movie quote. I should steal it. No, but I remember Y2K. They had that King of the Hill episode that was pretty funny. People were worried about Y2K compliancy. My cousin brought me a Y2K compliancy disc. I think I still have it downstairs somewhere. And I'll never forget, true story, New Year's 1999, into the year 2000, we watched the fireworks on TV. We used to go to my Aunt Pat's house. And we would go there, and she would let me stay over. Because that's my favorite aunt is cool. She always treated me like one of her kids. Still does. I just saw her the other day. My nickname from her is Peanut, which is odd because you've seen me in tiny cars. I'm not a small guy. But that year, we're sitting there. We're, still having snacks and stuff like that. Because I couldn't drink, so she always made, like, extra snacks and pop and stuff for me. So she was a lot of fun. But we're sitting there, and after the fireworks or whatever, the news comes on at midnight. And I'll never forget, my Y2K memory, January 1st, 2000, was the lady goes, everything's fine. Or the guy goes, everything's fine, nothing's wrong. And they went to an ATM to try to prove it on the air, and the ATM wouldn't work. And they go, okay, well, back to you, Jim. And that was it. That's my Y2K memory. That 1999 was an interesting year. That was what we were afraid of. The computers were going to roll back, and we wouldn't be able to, We were a lot dumber as a society, but we're also very dumb as a society now. Society is equally dumb, just for different reasons. Y2J, that's more my speed. Yeah, Y2J, dude. Y2J, Chris Jericho, my second favorite wrestler of all time. All time. A friend of mine called the Freddy Krueger number around 1988. It was his parents' home phone, and it was enough for him to get grounded for a month. Oh. Ouch. I know that Freddy Krueger number. There is a documentary called Never Sleep Again, and they talk about it. Oh, my God. My mom, I'll never forget. I accidentally, or not accidentally, but my mom let me sign up for AOL. You know, you got those free discs, and then you would, basically have to pay after your free service is up. I remember it rang up like a $200 thing, and she just was like, she yelled at me, and then just was like, okay, well, we have to get better internet. And we did. But that was the one thing I ran up was a high internet bill, because she forgot to know it was charging to her account. Thank you, Dread Pirate M, for the Hail Jeff comment. I appreciate that. Hail Jeff. Ah, the Millennium. I remember that song, too. It's essentially just Rock the Casbah with Will Smith. For as much as I like Will Smith, his music is just a copy of other shit. You've got mail. I missed that. I do not miss AOL at all. You know, I ironically wanted to change my notifications on my phone to You Got Mail and that message sound effect from a Messenger. But then I realized, like, I'm an asshole if I do that. So does nobody remember what Betamax is? Because I have some Beverly Hills Cop Betamax tapes. I'm getting nearer and nearer to finishing my collection. So our friend Cesare Japan sent me Japanese laser discs, which Cesare Japan, when you watch the video, don't laugh. I kind of gush like, oh, like I actually loved it so much that I sent the video to the guys. I was like, look what we got. It went on my shelf instantly. I put it back in that shipper box you sent them in, and I've been eating your candy slowly. Really like the strawberry. No, the watermelon's my favorite. The little watermelon gummies, very good. And the chips. It's funny. I was looking at the chips thinking, oh man, these are, Japanese potato chips, this, that, and the other. It's like, yeah, Frito-Lay, whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just ate the bag of salt and vinegar. They were delicious. But I've been slowly, every summer, I complete more of my Beverly Hills Cop collection. Because I told myself I'm going to get everything that they made from the movie. And it's really easy to do. So obviously you got to get posters and shit like that. But right now I'm on the home media versions. So I need a CED, and that is it. But I recently went on eBay binge. By eBay binge, I mean I spent $30. But it's Beverly Hills Cop, so you get multiple things. But I picked myself up, so I don't know if anyone is old enough to remember a lot of the VHS releases, but Paramount used to do this thing called like Collector's Edition, where they would release a movie, and then the next year they would re-release it in a black box with gold trim, like a reflective gold foil. And so my uncle had that version of Beverly Hills Cop as a kid, and I remember thinking it was going to be different, and I watched it was the same movie, which isn't a complaint. It's Beverly Hills Cop. Like, that's not a problem. But I picked up a brand new in-plastic version of that. Then I have an in-plastic version of the 90s re-release with the blue box, which I had as a kid. Then I got myself a mint condition, or near mint condition, copy of the first video release for $1. So I'm not spending much money. And then I did spend money, and I got an unopened LP of the not LP, just be an album. I got an unopened version of the 1984. I think the album came out in 85, technically 85 release of the soundtrack. So I got all that kind of shit. So I'm very happy. I'm gonna invest in some some of those clamshell cases for the VHS boxes and display my Beverly Hills Cop collection. Only person in America to have it. Let's see. Salvador says, "Now wait a minute, Jeff. No, Jeff." Sausage. That's been about a year. In August, it'll be a year since we've had the decline of Matt. No, Matt. No. Was that my favorite highlight of last year? Having it on the High Council. No, it wasn't. It was interesting though. It was surreal to talk to him. Since then, I've interacted with many other YouTubers that I like, and it's all been positive. So. I still do have a good laugh, though, at that. And there's a wait a minute Jeff No moment in the comic book, so for those who purchased it, you will get a chuckle out of that. Let me see if I can, because it's 11 o'clock. I love this show. I could keep doing it all day, but everything is frozen in front of me. And if I close it out and reopen, you know what, folks? Don't leave the stream yet. I'm going to try something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close out I use Chrome. I'm going to close out Chrome from the task manager, and then I'm going to try to come back in and see if it'll let me close out the stream properly. So if I'm going to go radio silent for a moment so I can do a proper outro, and then I'll be back to say my goodbyes. So you might not hear from me for a second, but I'll be coming back in just a moment. Okay, so now this is the portion of the episode where you may not be able to watch, but if you're listening on the later stream version, here I am. So this is a bonus clip for all you out there in Radio Land and not watching on YouTube. But thank you for how you consume this. No matter how you do, you are appreciated. And let's see, we're coming back. We're going to move back to the channel. Oh, they're still here. Video manager, blah, blah, blah. You're hearing me talk on the back end. It's not that exciting, is it? Let me know. Email us, worldclassbs@mail.com. You tell me what you think. If it's fun, if it's not, if it's odd. So, let's go back into live streaming. Let us go back into this. And resume on-air hangout. Okay. There we go. I'm back in control of everything. I can finally end this stream properly. So, we had a super chat pop up real quick. Let me say my goodbye. There we go. I'm back in control of everything. I should have done this earlier in the show. Hell of a show this morning, folks. Thank you for everybody that joined us all morning long. Didn't plan on it to be over 3 hours, but it was, and that's not a problem. So Micah D2 says, please link your comic. I still need to buy it. There will be a relaunch in the future. I will let you guys know. Believe me, it's going to get the whole campaign. It's going to be bigger. I want this campaign to do triple what the last one did. And the last one did a lot. Obviously Ethan's this big international artist, but from a guy that literally it's his first thing, it did really, really well. And the quality's there, and you guys are going to love it. And I'll continue to do those, and we'll continue to do more campaigns and stuff like that. Thank you, Micah. I know a lot of people want to get a copy. To be fair, my audience has doubled in size since we launched it, so it's going to be a big deal. Thank you, Knight Rider Companion. I will read your email, and we will talk. We will work something out. Logan Michael, Anti-Funko Pops, have a good one. Midsummer Gay. Well, thank you for all that you do, Logan Michael. Sorry I haven't responded to some of your messages on Twitter. I've been super busy, but I'll get back to those. And I'll go to the P.O. Box this week and check out all the stuff. They're probably going to hate me because it's been 2 weeks, and we get a lot of stuff. And I promise I'm going to edit the videos together and get you guys out the P.O. Box stuff. It's literally 4 hours of shit I got to edit. I just got to fucking do it. It's scary, but I got to do it. Yes, Phil Arconis. I'll be back tomorrow, folks. So today was a huge hit. Let's make tomorrow a huge hit again. Bring the excitement, bring the fun. I'll bring the Jeff, and we'll do Good Morning Pop Culture, and you can hear my squeaky chair go crazy. So I'm going to be working on videos, be working on stuff all the time. I'm like Jeremy. I'm always busy doing stuff for the channel, but I'm never too busy for you guys. So, folks, enjoy your day, get to work, get home from work, depending on where you are listening in the world. But no matter what you do it safely and make sure that you're excellent to each other.